It's a new year, y'all. And for me, I've never been one to do resolutions. I do solutions. And for the past almost 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, thanks to my brother, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who turned me on to this incredible product. Every day, every morning, no exceptions. Just one scoop and a glass of water. They also make packs that you can travel with. That's been very, very helpful for me as a active touring person. Having these packets with me all around the world has been really, really helpful. So if you're a musician or somebody that is always on the go, the travel packs are incredible. AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics. It's very powerful, it's very healthy, and it's really simple, man. Healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. The thought of taking multiple supplements and all these types of vitamins and stuff and powders, it's truly exhausting for me. I've never been one to take a lot of multivitamins anyway throughout my whole life. I always prided myself in just eating vegetables and eating all the stuff I need naturally, not in a pill form. So this is incredible. It covers my nutrient gaps. It supports my mental and physical health. AG1 is hassle-free, 60 seconds every morning. It's the high-quality ingredients of pre and probiotics, adaptogens and antioxidants, and whole food sourced nutrients. I drink it every single day. Every batch of AG1s goes through rigorous testing processes, and their ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. If there's one product I can suggest to you guys, is the AG1s, man. This has been a life changer for me. So go to ag1.com/OLLC and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. With AG1, I know I'm getting essential brain, gut, and immune health support, vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients for the day, and it's helped my mental and physical. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, it's AG1s. It's my nutritional insurance. I pride myself as almost being 54 years old, not going to the doctor all the time. Knock on wood. I've been healthy my whole life and try to strive to be a healthy person, stay young, stay full of energy, and still do the things I love that I did as a kid. That's why I still skateboard, play music, exercise. So start the year off right. AG1, ag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. If you want to just get Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for the merchandise and other cool items, exclusive items, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst. Stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives.
Here we go.
Check. Microphone check. Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. I got my brother, Mr. D-Block, next to me today. How are you, Derek?
What's up, yo? How you feeling?
Nice to see you.
Yeah,
nice to have you
here. It's good to be
back.
here, man. It's good to be here. You know what I'm saying?
I knew you couldn't be here. I knew you really wanted to be here today. It'd be stupid if you weren't going to be here today because it's a very, very special guest who's now involved.
Oh, yeah? Who is it?
In your life dramatically
Who is
and
it,
amazingly and game-changingly. Mr. Greyson Nekrutman.
Hello.
How do I do?
Oh, very good. Very good.
You're my first, we talking about my first Russian guest.
Yes, Russian descent. Russian descent. He's not straight.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
But from Strong Island. Let me finish. Dude.
Okay.
Russian from Long Island. It's kind of hard.
It's kind of hard.
Dude, welcome to the podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me. Seriously.
And I think you're my youngest musician on this podcast, besides having Max on here randomly here and here, who pops in and out. Oh, yeah, Nandi, my bad. Nandi just turned 14.
Yeah.
That's right.
She
was on here
me.
when she was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
Though.
Oh, wow. She definitely beats me on that.
She pulled up to my, this is a kind of cool story. I never told you yet. She pulled up to my England show last week, and she was talking about her favorite drummers, and I just randomly FaceTimed Travis. He was in the studio with MGK. I handed the phone to her. She freaked out. But her favorite drummer of all times is Weinberg. So I called Weinberg, and he fucking answered, and she started crying. It was such an amazing fucking moment. It was such an her dad said he'd never seen her cry like that, and she was shaking. It was so beautiful.
She's incredible.
It was really nice, man. She's
awesome.
a G.
Damn.
She is. No
That's
doubt.
awesome.
How are you, man? How's life?
Dude, it's awesome. Love to be out here for a little while. Been out for like maybe a week and a half here.
Yeah.
You like Cali?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's so different, as you know.
Yeah. Than Long Island.
That's Strong Island?
I know. It's weird. It's like I'll come here for
You got
like
the Hamptons
I'll come
out
here.
there.
I'll come here for like 2 weeks around this time, every year it seems like that May, June kind of window.
Yeah.
So I'm always out here for like a week or two during that window. But by the end of it, I'm always like, I want to go back and enjoy New York summer.
Yeah.
Like the summer in New York or early fall is something I have never beaten anywhere.
Wow.
Still.
I agree. I do miss the seasons a lot. Thinking about that. And Max growing up with no seasons.
Yeah.
And going out to New York during those times. It's with the leaves. It's all that shit. It's beautiful.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
We have it here. Just have to find it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
Like we don't.
it's really not. Yeah, it's not the same though.
But Long Island's like, what part of Long Island are you from?
Near Huntington.
Okay.
So kind of halfway between the city and the Hamptons.
Yeah. Do you go to the Hamptons too? Is that what you guys go swimming out there?
Dude, one of my friends just asked me. She was like, "Oh, you want to go out to this one beach out in the Hamptons?" I said, "It's so funny. I live like an hour and a half away, with like on a good day, and I maybe went twice to that beach, but it was like the go-to beach, like being in high school. But it's funny because Montauk's only like an hour and a half. Same with the Hamptons, and it's so gorgeous. But I feel like so many people on Long Island never actually go.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird. So finally, I think this summer before I head back to Brazil, I'm gonna head out there.
Do you surf at all, anything like that, or?
I learned once.
Okay.
In Australia, of all places.
Oh, that's a sick place to learn.
Yeah. I learned at like an indoor pool thing.
Yeah.
Wave pool. It was
wave
awesome.
Pool, yeah.
It was awesome. Terrified me. I don't know if I would go on Long Island right now because, it's Long Island. Actually, they know what they're doing. But
yeah, that's like the hot spot for surfing. I think Long Island, Coney Island, there's some different spots out there.
I did not know that.
Jersey, Max talks about going to Long Island.
There's also sharks too.
I know, crazy sharks out there. I
Oh,
know.
hell no.
Yes.
I ain't messing with no sharks.
I mean, the sharks everywhere,
Come
but there's a lot on the East Coast. Supposedly,
Yes.
yeah.
Right. There's one spot. Well, there's two things. So there's a beach where there was like a serial killer for a while.
I heard about that.
Oh, hell yeah.
I heard about this.
Yeah,
Serial killer
yeah.
on the beach?
So that's like the top surfing spot on Long Island. It's called Gilgo Beach, and there was a bunch of bodies found near it. So that's one issue, and the other issue
horrible.
is the other side.
did see
Down towards Montauk, you got all the sharks. So it's
Was somebody burying bodies at that particular beach, or was he killing people on that
no,
beach?
he was killing them. I don't know where, but he was dumping the burlap sacks along
That's
the road.
right. I just saw some of this. I
Yeah.
saw this recently.
And the best part, the worst part, he was an architect for JFK Airport.
oh my
Dude, it was
God,
ridiculous.
bro, that's
They
crazy.
knocked down his door like a few houses away from where a family friend lives. Oh, it was wild.
That's wild.
Yeah, he was just living a normal life for like 20 years.
Damn. Well, I know you started playing drums super, super early. How was life growing up in Long Island, man? You have siblings?
2 older brothers, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are they into music as well?
The middle one is saxophone player. Went to Berkeley School of Music.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's more into like hardcore jazz, just like that's his thing mainly.
When you say hardcore jazz,
Like traditional,
Okay.
like he'll only kind of stay in that vein. He'll sometimes venture out into like fusion and funk, but he loves his jazz. Like he has like an undying love for jazz that I don't think I could ever understand.
wow.
Which is awesome
That's
because he
cool.
like sees beauty in it that I could never.
Yeah.
So he's always finding new artists or new songs or new albums that he loves. That I'm like, I don't know where you find this stuff. Like it's just
That's cool, though.
yeah,
It's such a different world for us. Like that.
Yeah.
so
world's just
different, so different. It's just a different way of thought. And then my older brother, no music. He played piano when he was really little, but no.
Were your parents musically talented, inclined?
My mother played trumpet in high school,
Nice.
but
That's
yeah,
cool.
but it was
That's cool.
jazz based too, and then I think marching band. But then she stopped during college, and then I had an uncle who's a musician as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you had music played in your house a lot growing up?
Oh yeah, my mother was playing music constantly.
All types of music.
All types. Like the first thing I think I was exposed to was reggae of all things.
Nice.
I know me and
Yes,
Derek, that's our thing.
No, I love
Yes,
reggae,
man. We love the reggae there. Bomba clat.
So what kind of reggae in the house? Like just
Oh, I remember
classic
like
stuff?
like Peter Tosh was like the first person I
Sick.
listened to. I remember I was showing Derek this
Yeah.
down in Brazil, but there was this DVD I remember watching at like 7, and it was Peter Tosh live at the Greek Theater,
wow.
and the drummer had this huge red, maybe Tama drum set. It had like 18 toms,
Damn.
3 kick drums. And remember the video? The guy's jumping up to hit the cymbals.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing. It's the best thing ever.
It's pretty awesome.
It's awesome. Peter Tosh comes out looking like a god.
He is a god.
yes.
Straight up.
He's still with us?
No.
Oh, no.
Hell no. Mm-mm.
Long time.
No.
Okay. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't remember when, but he got murdered.
That's right.
I don't know
Yeah.
the whole how he.
My
died.
mother knew.
Damn.
Random fun fact, like not by blood, but basically we'll call him like an extended uncle because
Yeah.
we're like that close. Family friend named Lister that I grew up with, that my mom's known for a million years. He was responsible for bringing Bob Marley to this country.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So growing up around that
That's
guy.
crazy, dude.
Yeah. And I remember there was a few times he brought over like these 2 or 3 other guys. And my mother, like at 10 years old, was trying to explain to me that like, oh, the guys sitting with dad and me like are like famous like reggae people. And I just never understood who they were.
Wow.
But to this day, he's like a fixture in our like family. But
That's
it's so
cool,
it's
man.
so random
Damn.
that that's the person that my mother met through working at a radio station
yeah.
and is now just like part of our life.
That's awesome.
incredible.
Yeah.
Peter Tosh was murdered by 3 intruders.
Wow.
One of them he was trying to help at one point in life. And
When was this?
Wow.
this was in 1987.
Oh, yeah.
September
wow,
11th.
Oh, ooh, ooh,
Wow.
ooh, oof.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's a cursed
He
day.
tried to help,
Wow.
and yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
Back to some positive
Okay.
things.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, so growing up out there,
Yeah.
like you got into drums like 4 years old, is that true?
Yeah, I started playing when I was 4.
That's the first instrument you played?
Yeah.
Was attracted to, wanted to play, or?
Yeah, my brother was going to a pre-college thing at the time for saxophone at the local college. And his best friend at the time was a drummer. And my mother and this kid's mother became friends. And I was kind of at the age where, like, you know, parents are trying to find a thing for their kids,
Totally.
whether it's a sport or
4.
this and that.
Jeez.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, like something they're interested in. And I was doing like a little soccer, a little hockey, a little whatever. And then drums was also another thing I would do every Saturday. I just would take lessons from this guy, Justin Gallo. And it was awesome because it was not something that my parents were always like, oh, if you want to do it, like, we'll bring you. But it was never like, oh, you have to go do this thing.
Oh, that's good.
But it was a
Yeah.
nice activity to do.
There's no pressure.
No, but it was like a routine. And to
Yeah.
be that young and have a routine already was
important.
kind of,
It's nice.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really important. So like every Saturday at 2:00, I'd be at his house. And it was just the routine of that. And then slowly understanding how to practice and this and that because, oh, what are you going to do from Saturday to Saturday? Practice in between.
Yeah, for sure.
And just that whole thing, just I grew to love it.
Yeah, did you have a lot of energy as a kid, probably?
Well, I did for a while. And then when I was 10, I got really, really sick. So it was actually the opposite. I had no energy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Almost passed away.
What kind of sickness?
There was a disease called achalasia. I still have. I shouldn't say it was. It'll never go away. It's a disease of the esophagus.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it affects basically everything you have to do with eating. And
Wow.
it's extremely rare. It's like 1 in 400,000 people, especially
Whoa.
kids. Yeah.
Did you find out how many people in New York have it?
No, but all I know is I was the 40th person to have the surgery that survived it or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, man. That's
And that's why, like,
wow.
for the longest time, my Instagram name was Grey Drummer 40.
Oh,
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And my
Got
email
you.
to this day has a 40 in it still.
Wow.
My hockey number was 40.
that's
Oh, wow.
insane.
Yeah,
man.
40-year anniversary
Yeah,
of
basically.
Sepultura.
There you go.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. So I only say that to say, like, it was a thing, and then when I was 10, it changed into something different. Then it changed
Okay.
into, like, all I had, because I had no friends. I mean, I was out of school at 10 years old, you know,
Yeah.
home all day long. Had a home tutor from the
right.
Wow.
elementary school. Yeah. So all I had was drums. And all I would do was
Best
play.
friend, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I would do.
Wow. So what would it affect? Like certain things you could eat or just...
Yeah. I mean, it started with basically the symptoms of food poisoning. I just couldn't keep anything down. And it got to the point where I went to the doctor with my mother. And I remember the doctor saying, oh, it's a virus. It's this and that. And went home. Still could not keep food down. Was getting sicker and sicker. Was losing weight. Then eventually got to the point where the doctor said, oh, well, your son must be making himself throw up because he doesn't want to go to school.
Wow.
My dad almost killed that doctor.
I feel
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
I mean, me now, if I, was ever a father, that's the exact feeling I would have.
100%.
And of course, when I was young, I was kind of like, whoa, but no. The doctor
Wow.
went completely out of line and said that. And it took 8 months or so for a proper diagnosis of what it was. Because most people had never heard of it. Most people had
Yeah,
never
it's so
worked on
weird.
it.
Were you going to different doctors to get,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The first few were local gastroenterologists that they had experienced similar stuff, but with people who are like 60 and 70, not a
Yeah,
10-year-old,
It's
11-year-old.
right.
And then it would kind of be like, for months, it'd be like, we'd get a tip of like, oh, it may be this. And then we'd go
Right.
down that rabbit hole. Like, we were
Yeah.
told by somebody it may be gluten intolerance.
Yep.
So then we went down the whole non-gluten route for
Yeah.
like a month or a few weeks.
Tried everything.
Exactly. And then it was a gallbladder, so we went down that route. It was just everything.
No.
And then
That's
eventually got to the point where I remember there was one night where I couldn't even keep down a McDonald's milkshake because like the things I was being able to eat were getting less and less.
Yeah.
I see.
It'd be like I'd be able to have a meal and then throw a meal up, or like if I had 2 meals, I'd throw one of them up, kind of thing.
Jesus.
But then it got to the point where I remember one night it was really late. And my dad bought me a McDonald's milkshake. He brought that home, and I threw that up. And that was the moment my dad was like, "Get your ass in the car. We're going to New York City." And we drove at like 2 a.m, I believe. I barely remember it. Yeah.
Wow.
Straight to like a hospital there or something.
To basically the best hospital for kids.
Dad's a G.
Yeah.
I love your dad already.
Yeah, and we
That
went and we
sucks.
spent the night, and they finally diagnosed me with what they believed it was. And this is the crazier part. So we're there, and I'm there for, I'm going to say 2 days maybe. And we're talking to the top doctor there, and he's telling us we need to do this radical surgery to open you up like a fish. We're going to do like open heart surgery, basically, to get to your esophagus.
Damn.
Oh,
But, very invasive, like cut you down the chest, the whole thing. And we are literally we're hours away from the surgery, maybe like a day. Like it was going to be the next morning.
Mhm.
And I remember, from what I can remember of it, because I blocked a ton of it out, but I remember my dad talked to the radiologist. She pulled him into the basically like a little broom closet and was like, "I need to talk to you."
Yeah.
She said, "If I were you, I would get a second opinion. Don't go through with this."
Wow.
At an hour.
Dude, literally,
Wow.
literally down to the minute. And I remember,
Oh my God.
and I remember being like, "Well, what the hell are we gonna do now?"
Wow.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I don't remember how, but somehow I left the hospital. I was able to get out. They put me almost on like a feeding tube and everything. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
And we were able to squeeze in an appointment with Dr. Nurko, who was a famous doctor up in Boston Children's Hospital. And my
Wow.
parents drove me up there,
Wow.
and he was basically the one to save my life. So
Oh,
yeah.
my
Shout out to him.
Yeah,
That's
big shout out to him.
incredible.
I still want to find him. Like,
Yeah.
I know
I'm
he
sure you
works. He
can.
works at the same hospital.
Wow.
You should pull up there sometime when you play out.
I
there or
want
something.
to. Like, I want to just, I don't know. Like, can you send doctors like that an email? Like, he's at the level where it's like top doctors in the world.
If you guys
kinda
play to
level.
pull up to there or something, that'd be awesome,
my
man.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow,
I don't know
that's-
how to even get like a contact or anything, but
So that
I want to.
changed everything for you.
Yeah, because during that time I
Controlling
was
it.
still playing drums, like on a hospital bed rail, like literally tapping on the hospital bed rail,
Damn.
or like a practice pad. And what was awesome was I sucked so badly compared to everybody else my age.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was a few people that I would watch on YouTube that were around my age that were smoking me, just destroying me playing wise.
And they were the same age?
Same age.
Uh,
And I said, well, like, what can I do? I can't do much. So I was like, I'm just going to practice my hands and feet in my hospital bed as like fast as I can get them.
and you were at what age at this time?
It took between like 10, 11 till I was about 15 to finally be fully back in action. 16 maybe.
Wow, man.
Because after that, it was just a ton of stuff.
It's
I
like
mean, once I,
YouTube is like a game changer because we never had
No,
that
we never
growing
had
up.
that.
So
yeah, no.
us at like that age were.
We'd have to see skate tricks in sequencing and magazine pages.
It was
Yeah.
funny. It was a combo. It was like
videos.
DVDs and YouTube and then like drum books.
Wow.
Like I remember my mother bought me a drum book and I was sitting in the kitchen on the floor reading it.
Mhm.
That's how
Wow.
bad it was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But
you never went back to school after that, too?
no, I
Homeschooled?
did. At like 16 maybe I went back.
Wow.
Is
How
that-
was
is
that?
Is that weird going back to school
Yeah.
with that?
Dude,
age?
it was crazy. Like I remember there was a bunch of kids that thought I died from like cancer, like straight up died,
Wow.
like just like dead. Like they're
Right.
like, "Oh, you're alive." Yeah, no, it was hilarious. It was hilarious because this one kid, I remember saying, I don't remember where it was. I think I saw him in like Costco or something with my parents, and he had this he had this like weird he saw like a ghost kind of look. Like he
Yeah.
didn't know like I was still like kicking it. You know, like
Holy shit.
yeah, it was weird. Like it was hard to adjust back. And then also like it wasn't like I was better and I was just like instantly better. Like I
Right.
was like 100 and something pounds overweight, depressed, like going through it because I was like I just went through all this shit. Like
Oh, so you lost a
You
lot
lost
of
weight
weight.
and
and then
gained
you
it back?
well,
gained it.
yeah. So the long story short of it is basically had that surgery from Dr. Nurko, number 40, the whole thing. I'm better for about a year and a half. And then a year and a half in, I'm playing hockey a lot, playing a lot of sports. And at that point, I'm kind of like a normal-ish weight. And then what happens is I start having symptoms in my esophagus, my lungs.
Okay.
And they say, oh, you have asthma. Oh, you have asthma. Oh, you have asthma. Oh, you have pneumonia now.
Jesus.
No, what it was why do they tell you if your friends are drinking not to put them flat?
It'll throw up. Yeah.
So I was aspirating into my lungs.
Oh,
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That's gnarly, man.
Exactly.
So it's like burning your lungs.
Oh, it was
like
burning the shit out of my lungs and my esophagus. I mean, they were like, hey, like if this keeps up, like, you know, like cancer's like knocking on your door. Like he's here.
Man.
He's the cancer is here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
scary,
at that
man.
point, I went back to the same doctor. He cleaned up the surgery. Did basically another version of the surgery he had invented, which saved me the first time. So I have no scars. He did it all endoscopically.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
what
the
a
first and
G.
second one.
Nice.
And then after the second one, this is where it gets kind of interesting. They handed me 2 pill bottles about the size of this liquid death can. And one was prednisone and one was antacids.
Okay.
And they said the prednisone you're going to take for a month. The other one you're going to take for the rest of your life.
Antacids.
And me being a rebellious kid at the time, I said, you know, F you. I was like, screw that. I ain't doing that. So my mom's like, you have to take the prednisone. Like, there's no, like, she's a pharmacist, my mother. So she knows, you know, so she's like, you have to do the prednisone. I was like, okay, Mom. And then I basically was like, well, I know that acid reflux. So basically, the reason they gave me antacids is because my esophagus and all that was so torn up and so ruined from all the acid coming up because now my esophagus was wide open that it was a death sentence basically. So they said you have to be on this for the rest of your life, control your acid, this and that, just so you're not like suffering all the time.
Yeah.
But I knew that acid reflux has to do with weight and diet. And all these other things. So for a year, I didn't eat like any pasta sauce and like anything spicy for like a year. And I'd be really careful. And then I went crazy. I lost like almost 100 pounds in that time. I lost like 85 pounds or something crazy just in like a year or less. It was a lot of weight. Just worked out like an animal. Watch everything I ate. And then, just threw out all the pills. And my parents, I think for a little while, my parents thought I was taking them, but then they realized I wasn't. But
you
then
were fine.
I willed
Change
my
your
way
diet
out of it.
and shit,
Taking a crap ton of vitamins and just like living a good life.
It's amazing that you just do that. We always talk about that, reversing everything about your diet.
Yeah, especially acid reflux. It has so much to do with your diet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It was weird. It was almost like it was the best example of kind of willing my way out of being sick. Like, and to this day, I kind of take it like if I'm getting a cold, I purposely won't let myself get sick. Like you know that feeling where you're like almost feeling it and then you're like, shit, I just got to go work out and like eat healthy and go do like push. It might suck for 2 days. You might have a sore throat, but like you're not going to get in bed.
100%, dude.
And that was the thing of like at that point, it was like I remember my dad being like, you got to like make yourself better. And what I did was just work out, eat less, and just become, I don't know, just try to like change my life, I guess.
And you're playing the drums again?
Yeah, I was playing the drums the entire time.
Did you stop playing drums at that time? Oh, yeah, because you were too sick.
I think there was a point where I did because I got so sick that there was maybe a little time. But I
just have the energy to and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I had no energy at the time. I mean, it was bad. And I remember like the whole pharmaceutical industry. I remember they put me on some like really messed up meds at one point that just messed with me mentally too.
Damn.
Like to the point where like I didn't want to do anything.
Right.
And then
it's like
once
a zombie kind of.
I was 100%. I was a mess.
Sucks.
So that kind of interfered. But the minute I got clean off of those and I just kind of changed everything, I was set. But then,
how old are you then?
16.
Okay.
Maybe. But what changed was I came out of it. And of course I had to tell some people what had happened, but I really didn't tell anybody. And the thing is that I, from a young age, became so numb in the best way possible to like any drama or anything.
Okay.
But I became like a machine because now all I did was practice and didn't give a shit about anything. Practiced, worked hard.
No crazy social life?
No, at that time, no. I mean, I just became this animal. I just like became a monk.
Were you a spiritual person? Or
no,
your parents
I was
all,
so.
like...
It had been so tough for me through all of that I became. Numb is like an easy word to describe it. Like I think I became something else. Like honestly, like I became like me now versus me when I was 14. Like I'm trying to say, like if I was 14 and grew up the normal, you know, quote unquote trajectory that my life could have been, I would be a different person.
Yeah.
Because I still have the same numbness I had when I got out of that. Like when I was 16, 17, I became just like everybody in my family could tell I was different than everybody. I just became this kind of like really disciplined sort of like monk kind of person.
Yeah, some military vibe.
Yeah. not in like a negative way.
Yeah.
I think socially, like some people are like, "No, you don't go out. You don't do
Yeah, were you going to parties and hanging out with people at school?
No,
and doing shit
no,
like
because
that?
I was so dedicated. Now, but I had to learn. If anything, I had to learn how to be young. Because when I got out at 16, 17 of that basically life prison,
Yeah.
I was the maturity of like a 30-year-old already.
Crazy.
They had to deal with some real.
Yeah,
issues.
and it
Real
was
life
funny
shit.
because I had no patience for like any bullshit in high school. Like, and I love that because like I was just armor proof. Like somebody would say something and I'd just be like, okay, like I don't, I don't really care.
Right.
Did you like school?
Parts of it, yeah.
Did you do good in school?
Yeah, I was always good in school. And that was like one of the tough things is because like once I started doing the whole music thing, I never wanted to throw it away because I still have so many interests in things I learned.
Yeah.
So I always kind of battle with like, shit, if I ever kind of get bored of this, I'm going to go back and do my thing.
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't go to college?
1 year. And then it got to the point where I realized I was kind of teaching the teacher,
Wow.
to be honest. And also I was realizing like, I learned so much about business just from my father, and my degree was music business. And I was like, this is kind of like, I'm sure it helps some people, but for me, it was like, it was kind of useless.
You kind of got to live it too to learn.
I was
to be
living
part of
it though. Like I was literally doing my assignments on Zoom because it was during COVID.
Oh, right.
And it was a Monday. Yeah. Sunday, the day before, I was in Chicago filming for this drum company. Like I knew, like I was doing it. Like I was doing it. But then I kind of got this weird, like, I don't know, my whole life I've kind of felt like gut feelings really kind of guide me more than anything. And I got this weird feeling. I was like, I don't belong here. Like I just don't. I don't. And I remember my parents have always been supportive because they know that I'm not an idiot.
Yeah.
Right.
As harsh as that sounds, like
no.
I'm dedicated.
And they trust you.
Yeah. And they know that that I have my head on straight, and and I think it's tough for them sometimes because both my parents went to college. Now, my father didn't originally. My father, it's really inspirational. So my father, at like 15, 16 or whatever, was working at a pizza shop, became a butcher, worked as a butcher for like, I don't even know, maybe 15, 20 years, like a long time. And this is the wrong room to say that in, but this is back in the 80s, late 80s or 90s, into the early 90s. And then in the 90s or so, he said, I'm done with this. And he went to night school for 11 years. Yeah.
The night school for 11 years.
Because he had two sons, my two older brothers,
and
my mother, and she was a full-time pharmacist at the time. Went back to night school, and he was working during the day, still at the grocery store at the time, and became a financial advisor.
Wow, that's
I know.
That's incredible.
And then since then has done like every little side adventure you could imagine, from like flipping houses to like other stuff.
Wow.
But I only say that to say like,
that's awesome.
I learned all that from him.
Yeah.
And then I took, but I think there was a little part of him that kind of, he was on the fence. Like, can I let my son do this? Should I let him do this? If I guide him, I'll let him, kind of thing. And then my mother was same thing. Like, they're very trusting people, and they're also, I'm close with them.
Yeah.
And I keep, it's funny. Like, we'll always joke, like, as long as I call my mom, even if I'm in like a crazy country, she's cool. Like, hey mom, I'm in Chile. Like, here,
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, but they're awesome with it. But I think that whole history kind of set me apart from everybody, especially like. I joke now that I'm like the family member who like, oh, where's Greyson? Oh, he's in London. Oh, he's in, because I always joke that I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
When I'd be at like family get-togethers and like somebody'd be like, oh, where's your son? Oh, he's in here. Oh, where's your son who's doing this? Oh, where's your son? Oh, in Africa. Like,
cool.
Wait, what? Like, and now I'm that to my family a little bit.
That's amazing. Was there a point your parents noticed, obviously your love and passion for drums, and that this kid could really do this as a career?
My mother was always at the drum lessons.
Yeah.
She always kind of had a feeling. And then my dad, we have like an interesting relationship because it's like we'll talk about business stuff and then we'll just have like our father-son talks, just
separated,
like, and it's been hard at times to do that.
Totally.
But we're in a good place now with it. And it's funny because more recently as I've gotten older, he's talked more about how like it didn't click. Because to me it still hasn't, like where I'm at kind of thing. And I think it's good that it never will, but to him it never did until he would get a ton of people saying, oh, your son's going to do this. Your son's doing this. Like, kind of like other people at his level kind of saying things to him.
Yeah.
And then him being like, oh, wait. Because in the best way possible, he knows nothing about music. And I love that. He loves it. I love it. He knows about business. So when people say, oh, your son, you know, is top whatever, doing this and the top this, he's like, oh, that's awesome. But he doesn't let it, you know, cloud his mind, which is awesome.
He's still your dad.
Exactly.
It's just like,
But I think he definitely starts, he realizes now, you know, that, you know, how important it is.
Is he manage your stuff? Is he like your finance advisor?
He helps me, yeah.
That's cool, yeah.
And it's great because I'm very, just leave me alone, do my thing kind of person.
Yeah.
And he helps me kind of like, I push things off to him and he'll deal with it
Yeah,
in a good way.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whether it's, you know, even since we're talking about Sepultura here, like even like right now we're dealing with like gear, like trying to get like gear sorted. I was like, hey, Dad, can you help like talk to this person? Because I'm, you know, out busy doing other things.
Yeah.
And it would be super hard if I didn't have him helping me,
Yeah.
you know?
Were you in any bands in school or any when you were younger?
Mostly jazz.
Okay.
A lot of jazz. I was in big bands, a ton of local big bands. And I built that circuit and that circle up to being in like the top thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the jazz big band world, the top level is Jazz Lincoln Center in New York City. And I was I was in the top spot there,
That's
like
sick.
the top.
That's awesome.
And then I got into All National when I was 17, which is the top musicians in the country. It's like,
That's cool.
basically, let's make a big band of the top musicians in the entire country. And there was 2 drummers, and it was me and
That's
this other
amazing, man.
person. Yeah.
That's
it
cool.
It was wild, and I think I was the only person from New York too. Which
Wow,
that's a really
really?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. They take like one. Basically, you have to be the top in your state. So you have to get all state, which is
Okay.
basically the top of your state, and then from that pool of top of the state people. Now there may be 2 or 3 per state in all 50 states, and then All National comes and picks one person from each,
Right.
or 2 people from each.
Was that a
whatever
goal
it
of yours to reach that level of that in the jazz world?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. And then almost be careful what you wish for, because then I saw all the other sides of it, which we can get into, which really kind of turned me off to the whole
Is it
thing.
like Whiplash the movie?
No, not at all. Well, no, not that stuff. No.
Because that's
but-
crazy. That's crazy. Man, I know that like
I don't know. I talked to other drummers and they're like, that shit's bullshit.
in the Whiplash.
Yeah.
Such a
I
good movie,
I
though.
hate it because I love the movie,
Yeah.
and I think some of these drummers have a stick up their ass because they're like, oh, it's not accurate. Who cares if it's accurate,
Okay,
dude?
yeah, okay,
it's a
yeah.
good movie.
It's great.
Yeah,
Like,
I heard like
who
bitter. I heard from a
cares?
bunch of bitter drummers.
But
who are
that's the
just
part.
like, "Ah."
They're the bitter ones. That's the point. They're the bitter ones. You
Yeah.
know.
But you had some stuff blow up from doing the Whiplash. Some of the stuff from that, right?
Yeah, because I did the solo and stuff and all that. But that was later on. That was like during COVID.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. When did you start getting on social media? Like, how old were you?
Well, that was the thing. So my mother and I posted YouTube videos when I was sick, like a few. Yeah, there's still some out there people can find.
Wow.
Of when I was really little, like really sick. I had this big puffy face and everything.
Wow.
Yeah. But then the Instagram thing came out of spite, actually. It's awesome. It's the best story ever.
Why spite?
So well, I'd been posting a little bit here and there when I was, again,
And you had a YouTube page at that point or no?
yeah, but I didn't take it seriously.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
But like when I was like, whenever Instagram was like freshly started, we were there like 15-second videos still back then.
Yeah.
And me and my mom would do it for fun, you know, just whatever, see if it would click. And then I took it seriously and a little more seriously and whatever. And then when I was in that high school thing with the whole jazz world,
Yeah.
this is where that thing gets, the topic from before comes back, is I was in a situation where I was really one-track minded. Like I wanted to go to Juilliard. I wanted to go to MSM. I wanted to go to all these music schools. And I was working my ass off. I was playing every jazz standard known to man. I was learning timpani. I was learning all that shit. And
Yeah.
I learned classical snare drum pieces. And I was auditioning for Juilliard and all these under the eyes that that's what I wanted to do. Like
Right.
I thought that was my only path.
Okay.
So I'm like 17 or whatever and working my butt off. And about a year, so for all those schools, you have to submit what's called pre-screen auditions,
Okay.
which is essentially make some, you know, videos and show us that you're serious. Because I get it. They don't want a million people at the audition the day of because it's Juilliard or it's MSM. Any of these schools do it.
Yeah.
I get it. Now, I'm not going to say I had an ego, but I thought to myself, all right.
in.
No, I thought to myself, I'll definitely get past the pre-screen. So let me start working on the actual audition stuff.
Okay.
So a year out, I started working on all of it. Excuse me. I had all the snare drum pieces down, the jazz pieces, this and that. Go into a studio, hire my friends to record these pre-screens with me. And we recorded like 3 or 4 standards for it. And I remember I recorded them and I sent to all the schools. And I was, in the meantime, it was like a few months go by and I'm working on these pieces. I remember one day I'm sitting in my basement and I remember it was the day the emails were going to be sent out. And I got denied from every single one.
Whoa.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even get an audition to any of these schools I listed.
What?
Didn't even get an audition.
Holy shit.
I mean,
How'd you feel? Was that like
Yeah.
a crazy?
So that's where like Greyson 2.0 came into, because I became like a UFC fighter. Like it was bad. So I didn't play
Damn.
drums for about 2 days. I was that upset for about 2 days because I was like, well, what the hell am I gonna do now? Like I can go to a different type of school. Like I could just go straight for business or whatever,
Yeah.
or I could
Bless you.
go here and there. Yeah, bless you. But it got to the point where
It made you want it more.
Well, this is where it gets great. And this is where Greyson gets his little don't F with Greyson. So let's go back a few months. So
Yeah.
before the actual audition, a few of these people from those schools had come to see me play in very big, prestigious big bands. Had
Okay.
seen, like, scouted me. Like,
Okay.
literally watched me. Personally invited me to tour their schools. And me and my father went with these people, and we saw these different schools and sat in the office and talked about the program. And that sounds exactly like a college does for football athletes.
Yeah,
like they're not
totally,
just doing that to anybody. So I was getting scouted. Clearly, they
100%.
said they were interested. Well, I knew a little secret. They were all following me on Instagram. So 2 days after I get the denial, I said, I am going to be your living worst nightmare. Oh, I will absolutely destroy you in like every way. So I started posting the craziest videos I could make.
Were you big on social media at that point?
Big for my circle of friends.
Yeah.
But it was like I knew they followed me. I knew they'd see it. So I literally posted the exact same songs from the pre-screen videos.
Wow.
But I went
so they
crazy.
they could see the world's reaction, not so they
Well,
could
that too, but then I started practicing my ass off to a level
Okay.
I'd never done. And I got so angry at them, I said, I'm going to be your worst nightmare. I'm going to follow you everywhere you go, mentally, because you'll remember that you did that kind of thing.
Wow.
Oh, it got bad. I got, like, bad. So I would post constantly, just jazz, rock, whatever, jazz. And then I realized people were starting to pick up on it, because
Okay.
I was playing with this, like, ferocity in jazz and this, like, anger with jazz that people had been like, what is this? Like, they'd never seen that.
Yeah.
And I had one whiplash moment with a very well-known drummer where I got a drumstick stuck in the side of my back
What?
at that same program, one of those same programs that I was involved in, one of them. And so that person was on the list too. So
Damn.
because I knew that they were going to see it.
Of course.
But I got the best revenge ever from them. A few months into posting those videos, I got my first endorsement.
Wow.
And guess what? I was on the same roster right next to that person's name. Like, you go on the website, my name, and it's not there anymore, but my name was next to the person.
Wow. That's incredible.
And then I went and did drum clinics. I started doing drum clinics.
Okay.
I did clinics, and I remember I did it at one of these drum shops, and my poster was posted right next to that person's poster.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
So then I just became this, like, I don't have to do anything physical. I don't have to do anything but I will haunt you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I took that with me to the point where that started to, like, accelerate into gigs and shows and endorsements and all that stuff. And then it started to grow. And then people started to realize, oh, he takes this seriously. And then it was kind of just like a snowball effect. And I know that's so cliche to say, but it just started to...
And do you know for a fact that all those people saw those things and maybe...
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I had somebody reach out from one of those schools about a year and a half later. Offered me to come back and everything, and I was like, I want no part of that.
Wow.
I mean, I gave them the biggest, like, you messed up, you know?
Holy shit.
Take that.
And to this day,
I
I
love
love
that.
it because, like, I left, you know, and I'm sure you two have experienced this too, but it's an interesting phenomenon that I underwent because I realized that all these people that had gotten in those schools, it was all a farce.
Mm.
They had gotten in because they knew somebody, or they went to a music. The best with this one's got me. They went to music high schools with jazz programs.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the heads of those schools, the high schools,
They would write a recommendation.
or knew the heads of the jazz schools.
Yeah, dude. It's all you know.
Oh, it's all a fit. Oh, 100%.
Money,
Yeah.
who you know.
Oh, but guess
all
what?
that
These
stuff.
kids were selected when they were freshmen in high school to be in the colleges.
That's
Damn.
So guess
sounds
what?
about right.
I said, all right, great. So I separated myself from all of the, because I was in a group of this big band and all the kids had gone in these schools and I didn't. And then I started, if everybody was going to the right, I went to the left with the
Right.
social media and everything. So then I got the most backlash out of anybody because now I was not one of them. And I was actively not one.
Real black sheep.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be. I did not
Did
like.
you get a lot of haters?
Oh,
Like,
I loved it though because they're all my age. Because guess what? I was doing the jazz thing, but I wouldn't go on purpose, on 100% purpose. I wouldn't go to the jam sessions in New York City.
Dang.
They were all the jazz jam sessions. I wouldn't go because I didn't want to be associated with those people,
yeah.
those kids,
mhm.
I
because
love that,
I
dude.
viewed them as kids
Yeah.
compared to myself, but not in any way of playing or person, just maturity.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I was doing it, and I knew that at a certain level you need to start protecting kind of who you are around and who you associate with, and
Totally.
Yeah.
kind of
absolutely.
separate yourself.
Also know your
Totally.
worth too and all that stuff. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no reason for me to do that. And then the minute I think I mentally separated myself from all of them, all the kids, I became what I am now, which was like an actual like working adult in this world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And because the same kids are still in their dorm rooms. Like I'm still at the age
Oh yeah, I keep
You're
forgetting.
the-
when
Yeah,
my era and the same
Yeah.
kids that I was with in those programs, I've seen them every once in a while on social media. They're still at their schools.
Yeah, that's right.
They're still in those schools.
Yeah.
I keep
And you're
forgetting
touring the
that you're
world.
21.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
And he's
you're
touring
But
the
they're
world.
but they're literally
maturity
in the
level is
exact
like-
same dorm
Right.
rooms. Because I remember I saw like a couple of my friends are like hanging out. Oh, we have the semester off, whatever. I'm like, oh wait, you're still there.
Yeah, you're getting real life experience.
Yeah, and that's what I'm so thankful of. Is like, I'm happy that I got kicked in the face.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, you flipped it.
metaphorically
Mhm.
through that. Because I was talking to my parents the other day, and my mom was saying like, aren't you so happy you didn't get in X school, whatever the school is? Because it was one specific one, and I said, oh hell yeah, I am so happy I did not get in. And honestly, if I had any offer from any of them right now, I wouldn't do it. There's no
Yeah.
reason to. There's no.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's not me.
I feel like you're completely established now as an incredible drummer, musician,
Thank you.
person who travels and has been in these bands. And
No doubt. I mean, I keep forgetting the fact that they are kids like still in college. Like,
Yeah.
they're
right now,
still,
the age right now.
yeah, and then I think
Yeah.
if you're at such a different level of maturity and
Mhm.
professionalism, which
Mhm.
is like never associate the two together.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
really
even weird
weird.
for me because I think people get offended when you're not. It's like people get offended when you start to pull away
totally,
because
Right.
they take it personally.
totally.
Mhm.
And me, I'm the best example of that because I really purposely went a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it rubbed them wrong. But I have no regret of that. I'm really
Yeah.
happy I did. But to this day, it's really interesting to like every once in a while go back home and like see the people I went to high school with and
Yeah.
be like, oh, this is like, wow, ooh,
Yeah.
that's different. Like, wow.
So what is the first band you start working with? Is not jazz. Is it William Duvall?
Yeah,
or is it Premier?
It was William. Yeah, William, and
I
then
can't get
and then
the
Billy
familiar, too.
Howard, and then Billy Howardell after William.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you connect with them?
Billy was online of all things. We had some mutual
That's
friends in common, and William was online too, actually.
Okay.
But that was awesome because he, to this day, very, very close acquaintance of mine, but he put a lot of trust in me because we had never met, never played
Isn't
together.
that cool?
He just saw your videos online.
Saw my videos and saw
Wow.
interviews and knew that I was, mature in the whole thing,
Yep.
and it worked out great. Worked out perfect.
Damn.
Yeah, he's coming from the hardcore school, William.
Is he?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did an interview with him, Tanya and I did for Highway to Hell.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either
Yep.
until we start doing the interview. I was like, yo,
Where's he from?
Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay,
Atlanta.
yeah.
He was like so influential in the early Atlanta hardcore
Yeah.
scene. Like
I was like, bro. It was
like legend
connected
status.
like that. I was like, Damn.
From
dude,
Alice in Chains.
Yeah, I had
That's
no
crazy,
idea.
dude.
Crazy. He knows all that shit from back in the day.
Yeah.
So what was that like, just going to play with somebody like that wasn't jazz? It's kind of...
It was awesome because he wanted that like Mitch Mitchell jazz rock thing.
Yeah.
For that gig, it was perfect.
Nice.
And he was just awesome to work with, and it was an awesome record. It's a
He's
live
great
record.
singer too.
It's a live record?
Yeah, we recorded it live,
Wow.
straight through.
And where'd you do that at?
Well, that's awesome. So I think I was joking with somebody just last week because I did a drum clinic, and I had a question in the Q&A part, and somebody said, "Is it just me, or has every gig you've done been like under the gun?"
Oh, like, yeah.
And I said, "No, you're completely right." And it started with William. So William, this is the best story ever. So William,
It's kind of nice to under pressure, though, right?
yeah, well, yeah. Derek saw me when I was ready to pull my own hair out in
I
Brazil.
to that too.
I was ranting to Derek. I mean, me and Derek like went through it together, to be honest with you. But sorry to digress. But basically, William calls me. We talk about the record, this and that. And then we start talking about the dates and this and that. And he says, we're going to come to Atlanta, we'll rehearse, and then we're going to drive up to Nashville, and we're going to record it. And I said, and I remember distinctly, it was around my mother's birthday in November. And I remember saying, oh, so I didn't know if I was going to be out for like 3 weeks. Because at that point, I had only heard of records being done, like recorded in like a month time. Like you do the drums for a week, whatever.
Yeah.
He says, oh, you'll be back like the 13th. And I said, my mother's birthday's the 22nd. And I said, wait a minute, but I'm leaving like the 7th. What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I didn't tell you. I said, what? He says, oh, we're doing a live to vinyl.
Wow.
I said, what? He says, yeah, we're going to have 30 seconds between songs, and there's going to be about 100 and something people watching up in the control room.
I never heard of live to vinyl before.
Dude, it was
It was
ridiculous.
just live concerts.
That's insane.
We rehearsed it to the point where like every song you had 30 seconds in between,
Wow.
and it was insane. Like,
It's kind of a cool experience.
it was
though,
awesome,
right?
and
Yeah.
we played our asses off. And the coolest part, everything is analog
Wow.
because there's no overdubbing because the needle's actually going in while you're playing.
Damn.
So what happens is all the reverb, EQ, compression is on a wall, and they're actually they spent like 3 hours setting up the EQ, compression, all that on the actual drums, guitar, bass. It was just trio,
Yeah.
and that's all being fed into the actual vinyl.
That's
nuts.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never heard of
So
that.
the actual sound waves getting compressed and EQ'd, and then getting distributed onto the vinyl itself.
Did you play live shows with him too?
Not yet. He wants to. He wants to do that as an actual thing. So I think that'd be really cool to bring that back. But it was a really cool release. And then
Was that your first album playing on album?
yeah, that was my first like big time thing.
Damn.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then how do you link up with DJ Premier?
Yeah.
Talk about under the gun on this one too. This one was crazy.
And are you a fan of Gangster at that point?
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm one of these people who loves songs and albums, but I don't know anything about the people unless I start reading about it, and then I get obsessed,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
which is like weird dynamic with me. But basically,
We listened to hip hop growing up.
yeah, a ton. And
Yeah.
especially like the gym. And that time when I was sick, like that, So I met this producer, bass player named Brady Watt, amazing musician.
my boy.
online.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah, I know Brady, yeah,
what?
that's my dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know Brady?
I just know him from online. He's supposed to come on my pod. We DM, we text. all that.
Okay, great, wonderful. So Brady,
He's ill,
He's
dude.
awesome.
yeah. So
Yeah,
me
he's-
and Brady.
he's DJ Premier's right in.
So that's the
in.
thing. We connected online originally.
I'm sending a
And
picture today. It's cool.
This is the funniest part. So, me and Brady connected, and I was having some weird things with different people. So I had 2 phone numbers, and he had the wrong one. And I remember you were trying to text me on it. I wasn't getting it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I had a bunch of weird people with getting my number and stuff. So I had 2, and he was texting the wrong one, and basically he sends me a DM, dude. Like, I think I have the wrong number. I was like, oh shit. Like, here's like whatever. He's like, can I give this number to Primo? And I'm like, sure. Okay. So he calls me that night. Oh, what's up?
Max
Oh,
Morse.
yeah. What's up?
Max Morse. You look
How you
tired.
God, you look.
Oh,
Damn,
you
look
yeah,
so
you look exhausted.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Your eyes got crazy bags. You're jet lagged.
You've
and
been
you're
up all
waking to
night?
surf. Max. Yo, wait, you have you have sunscreen on? No. You do have something on your face. Oh,
Wow,
then you look
look-
bad. Go look in the mirror.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
come back later. We-
I,
that's
I
the
was a little
questions.
bit shocked too.
That was
Owl
scary.
eyes.
You look like a crackhead.
Yeah.
Owl eyes.
We love you, Max. You look
Sorry, but yes.
but it's jet lag. I know what you look. Max, just your eyes are banged out, man.
You're cracked out.
We're in the middle of this
son.
guy's fucking life story. so
Yeah.
come back later. Okay, go ahead. right, so Primo.
So yeah, we're basically. Oh, that looks delicious.
ahead.
Primo, they calls me. It's 10:30 at night.
He
I'm in
calls
my bed.
you.
Oh, he calls me.
Right.
Damn.
Calls me. 10:30 at night. I'm in bed. Then I was like, hello? And he's like, hey, Greyson. I'm like, what's up? Dude, he's like, we talked for about 5 minutes, and he says, so what are you doing in like 2 weeks or whatever it was? And I said, nothing. And he says, okay, well, my drummer bailed out, and I have a gig in Paris. And I'm like,
Dude.
well, shit. And he's like, yeah, he bailed out on me, and he's pissed. He was pissed at the guy, obviously. They bought tickets and everything for
Yeah.
him. He's like, rehearsal starts in like 4 days, whatever it was. I was like, what? He's like, I'm going to send you the songs. Can you do it? I was like, well, I'm going to, yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I spent hours just listening, the same thing, same story goes. You'll spend hours listening and learning whatever, and
What are some of the tracks in that set list?
dude, everything.
It's just all the bangers.
Well, this is the best part. So I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
And I go there, and they're telling me, so the story goes that Mike Amiri, the owner
This is
of
Gangstar
Amiri,
Max we're talking about. Okay.
the owner of Amiri,
Yeah.
fashion, had commissioned or whatever Premiere to do the runway show for the
Wow.
Paris fashion show.
Okay.
And he wanted Premiere to come up with a set list of all of his favorite songs, all of Mike's favorite songs.
Wow. Okay.
And they're like New York State of Mind, like
Damn.
deep cuts, like Platinum Plus, Big L, like all that, all of it.
Wow. So it's not just Gangstar.
No,
Okay.
no. It's Jay-Z,
Damn.
it's Kanye, it's everything.
Wow.
It's everything.
In Paris.
In Paris. So I'm like, all right. So I go to a studio, we're rehearsing, and it's hilarious because I go to a studio and it's like he has his like buddies from like back in like the day at his studio hanging out. And I'm like so like not meant to be there. I'm like, this is like, I feel so
Is
out
the studio
of
in
place.
New York or Brooklyn or
It
something?
was in Queens
Okay.
at the time. Yeah. And dude, it was amazing. And I spent like 4 or 5 days rehearsing with them. Primo's
Had
the
you played about
nicest
hip-hop
guy.
before that?
A little bit, but he put so much trust into me, and they were so damn cool. Like he is so
Right.
cool to the point where I did the gig. It was incredible, and then I joined Brady's band to do Brady's solo shows with him. So then that opened up a whole new door to playing with people.
When you fly to Paris, who goes with you? You go with your pops?
No, it was me.
By
Me and-
yourself?
me and the band
No
You
way.
and the band, okay.
Yeah.
And Premiere too?
in Primo. We're all there.
Wow.
Dude, this is the
insane.
best part. We go there, we rehearse night before. We get fitted in Amiri clothes. I still have them, the shoes,
Ooh.
everything.
Damn.
And that night we're at the hotel. We're eating. Stupid me eats a salad. I got the worst food poisoning in my fucking life.
Damn.
Dude, it was so bad. I was up the entire night. The next morning, I get down to lobby call, and I have to have a bucket next to me during the entire performance, and nobody knew. I killed that. I killed the performance. Usher's like 10 feet away. Kodak
Wow.
Black is like 20 feet away. Like everybody.
Wow.
Dude, there's videos. They're all there. They're like
Oh
all
my
Are
watching.
you puking during the set?
No.
Okay.
I was fine during the set. They dosed me up with like all these like French, drugs. Like they went to like the pharmacy and bought like every anti-nausea French medicine ever.
Holy shit. You never shit or puked for days. Yeah.
No, it was great. I felt great.
Damn.
But dude, I did it, and it was like one of my best sets ever. And we
It's
got
online
off-
too?
Yeah, it's
All right, cool.
online. And
That's like a dream, dude.
dude, so I left there, and Brady offered me the gig in his band to join that, and that was wild.
Is
But-
it a solo project?
yeah,
ladies?
yeah. And then I did some recording with Primo for an album, Primo wants to do, but
But nothing came out with that?
nothing
Primo?
yet. No, but the thing about Primo is like, and I've met a few people like him, in a way of like, the best way I can describe is people like him have so much,
Yeah.
whether it's success, money, whatever you want to equate so much to, that if they actually allow you in their circle, like actually, then they're one of those people that has inspired me to live like this. Like I've learned from Primo to have a small circle, a very small circle. And the only people you allow in that circle is the people you actually genuinely care about and will go out of your way for, instead of 100 fake friends.
I love that.
Right.
That's how we roll, man.
But
That's how we roll.
he taught me that because I remember,
Trim off the fat, man.
dude, well, like I remember like I got the Suicidal gig and I called him and told him, not because we had a gig. We didn't have any gigs, me and him, because he was doing his thing, but just to tell him, like, hey, like, and he was so proud of me, so happy. He was texting me on LA.
Did he know Suicidal was?
Yeah, he had toured. He had toured because he had toured with Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So they knew each other.
That's dope.
But dude, he was like so supportive. And then I remember, he'd always comment and always this and always that. And then the same thing. We just became really super close. And then just a mentor and just lifelong, just I would say just like a second, like a hip hop father to me, like a musical father.
It opened a whole new world for you.
Like I could call him now. Like I call him any time of day. You would answer me. And he just went out of his way for me in every possible way that I can't really thank him enough. But it's the same thing. Like I'm very close with John Stamos, the actor.
That's random as fuck, but yes.
But no, it's the same thing though. He's the same way.
Right.
Where like if he lets you in, you realize these people care so much more than you could ever imagine.
You know who you remind me of?
Who?
You don't look like him at all because obviously you're young and you don't look like him, but the director of Iron Man.
Whoa.
You talk like him. John Favreau, what's his name?
Wow.
He's from Swingers.
I hope that's a good thing.
He's from Swingers, the movie. He's in Swingers, and he directed all the Iron Mans and Iron Mans. Just your accent. Maybe he's from Long Island or something.
I hope
crazy.
so.
He is.
But like these people, like all those kind of people at that level, they've showed me just that importance of that kind of circle.
And professionalism too. All that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just also they protect the people they associate with. Same thing. It all boils down to that.
You have a tight circle of friends like that too?
Yes. If anything, it's the smallest it's ever been, which I love.
Same. I feel like as I get older,
because I just even recently, like even with, we could get into this, but even with like Sepultura, like I something just happened when I came home off of this most recent tour that really like kind of like gave me a little like, oh wow, I got to keep it even tighter. Like this is like
okay, damn.
Like, but I think it just comes with the territory, honestly.
Yeah,
How'd
the Suicidal gig come up?
Well, I feel like it sounded like a broken record, but again,
not in this podcast.
Not in this podcast.
All right, so basically, what happened was it's a really weird, sort of messed up story. But
had you heard of Suicidal before that?
Of course.
Okay.
But when Taylor passes away,
rest in peace, Taylor.
Josh, obviously they planned that Josh was going to come in. I don't know how long after, but at a certain point after.
He was in my brother's band. He left Offspring to do that.
Really?
Yep.
Hell yeah. So, he left Offspring.
Right.
But when it was decided, behind the scenes that he was leaving Offspring, they were doing auditions for drummers. And Brandon Pertzborn, who was playing at Suicide at the time, and he had played with Marilyn Manson, he played with everybody, Black Flag. Awesome dude. He won. He did it. He got the gig for Offspring behind everybody's,
right.
But it was obviously kept, closed because nobody.
My brother
didn't
even tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super tight. Yeah.
So basically, at that time, Mike needed a drummer, and Brandon recommended me.
That's dope.
And then a good buddy of mine, shout out to Billy Reimer, one of my lifelong best friends, who had played with Suicide on off as like a fill-in as well. He recommended me as well for it. And him and Brandon just, recommended me to Mike. And then Josh Paul, shout out to him as well, former bass player of Suicidal.
Yep.
He sent me a message and was like, hey, can I give Mike Muir your number? So instead of Primo, I give Mike Muir your number. And Mike called me and told me what's up. And I had about 3 weeks.
How was that, getting a phone call from Mike Muir?
It was awesome.
It's pretty sick.
Awesome. It was awesome. I was in my basement at the time. And he calls me and he's like,
Mike.
Yeah, basically that. Hey. Basically that.
Such a legend.
And he's like, so what are you gonna do in 3 weeks? I was like, huh? And I had like 3 weeks, and the first gig was Welcome to Rockville.
Jesus, that's a big one.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Right?
Yeah, everything you're doing is like on the fucking last minute.
Basically.
It's crazy.
Damn.
So far,
but I think it's actually gotten like it's progressively ramped up because like William Duvall, I had like maybe 3 months before I left.
True.
And then Billy Howardell, I had a little bit, like I had more than for that. And then I had Primo, I had like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then Suicidal, I had like a month, and then now Sepultura.
We'll get to that one. Whew. Do you remember? So did you practice with Suicidal a bunch before those shows?
3 rehearsals.
Wow.
But what was so hard for me is like, it was all monitors, wedges, and I'd never done that. I'm so used to in-ears.
Okay.
And it was a festival, so there was no real setup. There was no sound check. It was just like,
go and do it.
Here you go. Now, if I we're doing Festival of Sepultura, that's easy now, because it really feels no different than a show.
Yeah.
It's the same crew, same everything. And plus, if we're on the road already playing shows, as well as I do, like if you're already in that mode, you're fine. It's just like autopilot.
Totally.
But with that, it was my first show. Like my first show was a festival. It was hard as hell.
Who was that player in this from Dillinger Escape Plan?
Ben.
He's ill.
Yeah.
He's
Dude,
ill to watch with you guys.
Amazing.
And then Ty was in there.
Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dean. The
Is
lineup was me, Dean, Ty, Ben,
Solid
Mike.
lineup. Dude.
solid.
Suicidal's always had solid lineups,
Sure.
man. Solid lineups, man.
Great players,
Hell yeah.
always.
So, are you super nervous going to the Suicidal first gig? You get nervous?
That was I was nervous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty nervous because it was my first big show
Ever?
Yeah.
And kind of hardcore.
The shows
punk rock
I
show,
had done with like Billy Howard, I mean, they were tiny compared to this.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
every show I'd done was tiny.
Even the Paris one, probably because it was like Fashion Week, some like kind of.
That was the
party
biggest
thing.
I've ever done. That was That was like millions of people watching on live TV.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That means Jay-Z saw you do a song.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
sure.
Well, I think he was there.
Damn.
Somebody, people
That's
were there.
fucking crazy.
No, but yeah, that was the biggest show at the time in Rockville. I mean, the set we played wasn't that big. The stage was not a big stage. It was still big, compared to anything I'd done. But it was actually really interesting because that summer I did like 5 shows. My first 5 shows with Suicidal. Flew back to New York, had 2 days, and then I headlined the Montreal Jazz Fest with Primo.
Damn.
That
That's
was the
fucking
coolest show I've
huge.
ever done in my
Wow.
life. That was like almost. I think that was over 100,000. I think it was like 120.
Damn.
Is that Gangstar songs too?
Dude, it was everything. It was awesome. I think it was like 120,000. It was huge. It was in the streets of Montreal. Like it was ridiculous.
Damn.
And then flew back out and did more Suicidal stuff.
Max is pointing something. We talked about this earlier, Max, but you're in it now. But yeah, how much of effect did that Whiplash thing you did and your TikTok and all that have effect on just getting your name out there that really blew up for you during the pandemic?
If anything, it wasn't. It was the attention part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't necessarily all positive.
Okay.
Because I got
Yeah, you
quickly
see you got a
boxed
lot of
into.
haters, right?
It was I was quickly boxed into jazz and big band, and he's a big band drummer. So like in
That's all
hindsight,
that-
I'm very thankful I did that. Yeah, but it was not necessarily all positive. Like I think social media was really important for me, and I obviously would not be here if it wasn't for it, because literally Andreas found me through social media as well. But
it's your resume.
it's my resume. But I think I wouldn't change any way I did it, and I wouldn't change any course about it. I just think people look at it too linearly, like they just think, oh, if I make videos and they are big, I will be popular and it's good. Like they think that.
It doesn't really go into real life.
You need to
yeah.
realize that there's so much more that comes with it you don't realize. But I think it was super important to get my name out there, and I think but then again, it also hurt certain gigs. Because then I got a lot of there was a time where I was trying to get, for a while my dream was to play for like pop stars, to be honest with you. Like I wanted to be the guy who like played for whoever, and they didn't even know who the drummer was, the crowd,
With
but it was
Bieber
a
or
big crowd.
something,
Yeah,
honestly.
but as an example, nobody knows who the drummer is on those gigs.
No.
No.
But that's what I wanted to do. I don't know
Right.
why. I just
Huh.
thought it'd be cool to be on tour buses or whatever. Like I thought that was the easiest way to do it, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was the easiest way in. Then I realized I hate that. I hate it. You know why? Because it was all the people kissing up to the musical directors.
yeah.
And all the musical directors would see the jazz videos and say, oh, he can't do this. It's too, he's too much, or he's too loud for us, and this and that. So then that kind of taught me another thing, which was like, I hated that whole like kiss up to musical directors whole vibe thing of like playing for, solo artists, because a lot of them, they don't even have a relationship with the artists. They have no connection with the band.
Yeah.
I know people who play for artists who they've never even spoken to the singer. I would never
crazy.
do that. That
Yeah.
sounds like hell.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up on stage and play your songs, and you don't even want to say hi to me? Like,
yeah,
really?
He was there to come onto
And
the
a lot
stage,
of
yeah.
a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, you're getting paid a lot." Well, sometimes you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't think it's all the grass is greener on the other side. Like it's not.
Yeah.
But no, I think social media helped me, but then at the same time, it also led to a little bit of good and bad confusion in the drum world, because people were confused. They're like, "What is this? This is so different. This is sick." But then also the question was, well, what are you going to do with it? That was the biggest question I got.
Yeah.
for years was, well, what are you going to do with this?
That's some of the drummers that Max always shows me online that are not in bands, and they put drum clips up every day, and these incredible drum clips.
Yeah.
But they're not in bands, never toured, never played shows.
But guess what? You put them on the stage in Max's seat. They couldn't play like Max because you can listen to a monitor and actually play with the people in your band.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can.
big
Interesting.
difference. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
to
it's a
play
big
with the
difference.
band
You
and
take
play
you take
live.
one of them. You take one of those Instagram drums, put it in Max's seat. They'll fail. They'll fail.
And you have to
100%.
consistently go through an entire
And-
set.
and-
too,
exactly.
You know, yeah.
100%. And people have no concept of that. They don't. The people who understand that. Oh, now what I love nowadays is a lot of people have admitted or are very honest about where they sit in the drum world.
Yeah,
it
it's
seems.
True. Yeah.
Like some people are really happy doing that. And I love that. I love if somebody is like, this is what I do. I'm good at this. Because that's me. But I hate when people are like, oh, why don't I have the gigs and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, why are they complaining about it? Like, don't complain. Like, work
Yeah.
harder kind of thing. Like, you need to have
Yeah.
the experience to do it. You need to work,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's interesting, the reality of like online and then real life stuff, like real shows. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm sure you have fans that come see you from finding about you on TikTok, maybe. Who
Yeah, like
knows?
it's interesting because I'm in a weird, interesting spot because and to this day it's really important to me, is like I never wanted to be the drummer who is in a band and that's the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Greyson Nekrutman, meaning I have my own thing, which was the jazz big band whatever thing online. Then I transitioned that into master classes and drum clinics. And I never stopped that. I still do it. I just did a bunch of, I just did like 3 drum clinics in Canada and a
That's
drum
awesome.
festival. For
Yeah.
a lot of people. And even on this upcoming Sepultura tour, like I'm going to do drum festivals after the shows.
It's awesome, dude.
But what I never wanted to do was lose that kind of identity, you know? Like I think it's so important because one day this will end.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever this is, whether it's me playing drums or whether it's me playing in a band, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know who I look up to? Henry Rollins. I
awesome.
want to be traveling the world like him,
Yeah.
writing books, doing
It's
all
cool,
that.
man.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I never want to lose my thing. I never want to lose.
You know, it's like one trick point, like not just one
Yeah, I think that's important
style
to,
drummer
to
or
really have that.
Well, because you
know?
can't really make a living doing one thing now.
Right.
That's the truth of
It's
it.
true. It's
Unless
really true.
you win the lottery and you.
But yeah, I think
you
it's just
know,
healthy to
good
have.
point.
I mean, you're not a one-dimensional person,
Mm-mm.
you know. So I think it's healthy when you have certain things that interest you to go after them
and
you
stay
know?
and stay creative and still
Yeah.
because you love drums so much,
You get one more. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Max. Because you
Yeah.
because you love
Thank
drums
you.
so much too. Like,
Thank
and
you,
so
dude.
you're like teaching it, you're playing it, you're
Yeah.
living it, you're breathing it. But it's not just like I'm in Sepultura.
Yep.
Max? How long were you in Suicidal for? How long was that run?
I'm gonna say a year,
That's it.
a year and a
It
half.
seemed
yeah.
like longer than that.
Yeah, I thought it
It
was
seemed
much
Suicidal
longer.
longer than
no,
that.
no.
Okay.
It was wild. It was a quick year.
It was a lot of shows, a lot
It
of
was
tours.
a
though.
year and a half.
We
Maybe.
played shows with you guys. It was
yeah,
awesome.
that was
like,
fun. That little 3-date tour we did, whatever that was one of my favorite. That's still one of my favorite times ever.
that was really,
real.
really fun to play with you guys. So then, so we get to the Suicidal
Yeah.
Sepultura thing.
I want your perspective
Because
on
Well,
the
I
whole
mean, it was
thing.
funny because we were all together
I know.
when we went to check out the show out here.
The Suicidal
OC,
one?
The Suicidal show.
Oh, yeah.
So I had never seen Suicidal with this lineup, and I had never seen Suicidal in California.
Yeah.
So it was really like hyped up, and I was like, all right, let's go to this. And then you guys were talking about Greyson, like, yo, they got a sick drummer.
Yeah, because we just played shows with him.
And I was
yeah.
just like, cool. And I was checking. I just remember watching it like, wow. I was like, he's really amazing. You know, just like really incredible. Like I was blown away. The whole show was incredible, but I was blown away. And then at the end of the show, we got to meet you.
Mhm.
And just for a second, then like a photo. And I was just like, it just stuck in my head. And it was just like,
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Wait. Did you know of Sepultura?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was trying not to fanboy over you yourself too
Stop.
much. And then you introduced me to Derek, and I was like, oh, my God.
And it was such an awesome night. And then months, not that long after.
No, that was
Literally,
that was the end of October.
Yeah.
That show was about Halloween at time. I think it was like 31st maybe.
The timing's just crazy with like all the bands.
Yeah,
If I could be honest, the Suicidal, the Slipknot, Sepultura.
Well, yeah,
The
I want to hear
timing-
your side.
the
And I'm
timing
gonna
is
give you
so
my, I'm going to give you my
crazy
my
that we're-
timeline after Derek.
And so,
yeah, of that trio of rotation of bands.
so we were getting ready to. We had already announced that we are going to do a farewell tour. It was like in December that we announced it, and so then I think it was February we started playing shows, and so it was like Andreas calls me. It's like, yeah, we're going to do rehearsals. It's all set. Everybody's in line. It'll come down to Brazil, and then we'll rehearse a few days, and then we'll start the tour. And I was like, great. Literally, like waking up, packing my shit. Like I think I was flying out like literally the next day to start rehearsals. And Andreas is like, yo.
I remember this moment. How bummed you were, man.
Because I was just like, yo, what's up? You know, like, what's going on?
Good
He's like, he's out. I was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Who's out? And he was just like, yeah, Eloy's out. And I was just like, kind of like falling in a black hole. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
it probably seems so surreal.
it was totally
Slow motion.
surreal. It was like literally in slow motion. I was just like trying to get my breath, and he explained everything. Like he wanted like a meeting with everybody in the band and with the managers and everything. And I wasn't there, but you know, he came in and it was just like, you know, I'm doing this gig, I signed a contract, and I'm out. You know, there was like no.
I remember talking to you how distraught and bummed and like.
And I was just trying to get my head around it because it'd been 13 years, you know, like playing with this guy, and I was just like really, just shocked, you know. Because
you were in shock.
I can
I was
only
in
see
shock.
how hurt you could be too, because like you're saying, 13 years.
Yeah.
You didn't have any almost closure either.
No,
Zero.
there was zero
Because of how rapid things happen, and
it was just like literally like in that moment. And so Andreas
Yeah.
is just like, so I was like, dude, what are we gonna do? It's like,
Because you're leaving the next day.
yeah, and we've been in this position where it's just like so crazy changes. You know, I'm sure. When Max left, he was in that position like, what are we gonna do? You know, and then when Gian left and Igor left, you know, like different people are like, what are we gonna do? You know, like it wouldn't be the first time of like total chaos, but we're like thinking, and he's like, I'm on the phone with him. He's like, my son showed me a video of Greyson. You know, I was like, great, yeah. I was like, Greyson, he's in Suicidal. Yeah, I just saw the show. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I was thinking maybe I was calling. I was like, yeah, call him up and see what's up with them. You know, because we're like, he was like, God, if you think of any drummers, but in that same conversation, he's like, yeah, I was like, you should call him up like immediately. He's like, no, I am. I'm gonna get his number. I'm gonna call him up, see what's up. Just to see what's up. You know, I don't know. I was like, it's playing with Suicidal, maybe has some off dates, and you know, we're just like panicking.
Yeah.
You know, because we had no clue what to do. We weren't expecting this at all.
so that's where I'll take it up. So basically, I was
Who DMs you?
well, this is the story. So I was at NAMM, and I met Eloy, and it's actually a really funny story because I met Eloy at NAMM at a party, and he gave me his praises of my playing, and I was like, "Yo, I'm a huge fan. Like, I love your stuff." And he's like, "Oh, you're killing it!" Like he.
Wait, before this,
Yeah.
After seeing you, I was with the lawyer. I was like, dude, have you ever seen this dude? And it was you. I was like, he's awesome. I just saw him in Suicidal.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
Okay.
go on.
So we're at NAMM, and I meet him, and it's a really nice time. And it was at a party after NAMM, and it was really brief and short, but it was really nice. And he was really, courteous to me, and really, sang my praises and stuff. And it's really funny because then the next day, it turns out that I was with a friend of a friend from Suicidal who is actually connected with the whole Sepultura camp with Paulo and everybody, Mel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it turns out like I saw her at NAMM, and apparently this is like really like crazy and weird, but Paulo and Andreas and everybody and like one of our band managers was there, and I actually was like 5 feet away, like turned around apparently. Like apparently we were like within 10 feet of each other.
I remember they were there for that.
Yeah, that was like a story that Paulo talks about all the time. Is like Paulo like saw me. Like I was turned around talking to somebody else at NAMM about 10 feet away from Paulo.
Damn.
So fast forward a few weeks. I'm home, and I get a text from Chloe Trujillo, Robert's wife, and she says, "Hey, can Paulo from Sepultura have your number?" And I said, "Absolutely." About 5 hours after that, I get a DM from Andreas, and it's very nice, and it's very straightforward. And he says, "Hey man, I love your stuff, yada yada. Can we can I call you? I have something I would like to talk to you about. And I said, hey, man, absolutely. Here's my WhatsApp. So I tell my parents. My parents are like, well, what the hell's going on? My parents think I'm joking. So then I'm also not getting ahead of myself because I'm like, I don't know what it could be, whatever. So this is where it gets funny. And I actually never told Derek this. This is
Exclusive.
perfect,
Right.
exclusive on the podcast. Max,
Yes.
don't go away. You'll love this. So the next so Andreas says we're going to talk at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time. So I wake up, I go to the gym. I'm at the gym, and Andreas texts me and says, hey, man, my meeting at noon got canceled. Can I call you at noon? So in my head, I'm like, damn, it's almost like an aggressive girlfriend that's like, hey.
Right.
So I was like, shit, like, all right. So I was like, sure. So he calls me, and I'm in my room, and he just tells me, he says, hey, man, I love your stuff this night. He says, he said exactly like this. He says, I'm kind of in a situation. That's the exact words he said. And I said, what's up? And he says, yeah, Aloy quit yesterday, and we have this tour planned out for a long time, and it starts very soon. And I have the dates, and I remember sitting in my room, literally, like, it was the weirdest feeling. Like it was. I've tried to explain it a few times, but it's like it was a feeling of like oh no, but not a bad or not a good. It was like like when you're learning to drive. And you're on the highway, and you have to do this. Like, you have to, because it's you got 50 years left to live, 90 years left to live, whatever it is.
I'm a terrible driver. So
Well, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, this is something I have to learn from my life kind of thing, or whatever.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah. Oh, he has a drive?
I don't drive on highways too.
Oh, well. All right, well.
But I get the
All right, how
metaphor.
about riding a bike? How about riding a bike?
yeah.
Riding a bike.
I was there for the
I
last
get the
highway
metaphor.
drive.
All right,
Yeah,
but
the
it's like you
metaphor.
have to, like you have no choice. But like, damn, I'm gonna really have to do this. So I was like, okay. And again, I still had no clue. I had no clue what he meant though.
Right.
I thought he meant maybe do like a show.
Yeah.
And again, I literally looked, because then Andreas was like, I think he's going to Slipknot kind of thing. He's like, because I don't know why else, whatever. I was like, okay. So I go on my phone, and I remember looked up Slipknot dates while I'm on the phone, and I realized they start in April. So I said, okay, maybe then I'll start like doing the shows that are in April and May. So I was like kind of chilling. And he's like, if you're interested, let me know. I was like, dude, I am interested. And this is so funny. I said, I think Andreas laughs every time we talk about it, but I remember saying to myself, he's like, so you can do it? I said, yes, I'm going to do it, but I got to go tell my parents. And Andreas is like, okay.
So amazing.
So, dude, no, this is the best part. So, my mother is out walking our dog, and I go downstairs, and my dad's at the kitchen counter, and I was like, hey, Dad. He's like, hey. I was like, so, can I talk to you? He's like, yeah. So I tell him the whole story. I said, this is a huge, again, he doesn't know anything about music. So I'm like, this is a huge Brazilian band. The drummer quit, this and that. He's like, okay. He's listening. And I was like, yeah, except the tour starts in like 2 weeks. And he's like, okay. And then my mom walks in the door. She's like, hey, how are you? I'm like, can you sit down?
Yeah.
And I tell her, and she's like, she's always like the skeptical one. She's like, are you sure this is real? Are you sure this is like is he really him? I'm like, Mom, like it's really Andreas. Like, come on.
It's a fake account.
Literally.
Bot.
So then literally within 24 hours we talked to the managers, my father and I, and my mother.
Wow.
And within 48 hours I had a schedule for a flight to Brazil. I had
Never
my
been there
flight.
before?
Never. I had my schedule for my flight. And then shout out to one of our crew people, Anna. She set up me to get shots in New York within 2 days. Like, that's not easy. You can't just get these shots in 2 days. In New York, like, you need appointments and stuff. She got me everything. Like, she sent me the flight. She's like, this is your flight to Brazil. Like, here it is. And it was,
holy shit.
at that time, it was funny. It was one way. Like, because I didn't know when I was coming home.
Wow.
And I, that day, this is crazy. So I was going to Hawaii the next day for a gig with Suicidal.
Okay.
And I called Mike. And I just told him. I told him the whole story. I said, this is what happened. this was not planned. This was not me going behind your back. Because I didn't want him thinking
Yeah, of course.
I was screwing him.
Of course.
This is the dead honest truth, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were also open and willing because I was like,
well, that was the thing. That was
and I
the
was
thing.
like, well, if they have dates, maybe we can reschedule our own dates.
I brought up to Mike that I would be able to do some dates if he wanted me to in June or so. You know, and I wasn't screwing him. I was only, you know, I could only not do one show.
Yeah.
And so he actually was super understanding, really understanding, which I, to this day, I'm so thankful for. And everybody else in the band was super understanding as well, and like really cool. And everybody kind of knew that it was the right move for me. Everybody's like, this is what you need. This is it. This is your next move. Like, you need to do this. And I went to Hawaii, and I sat on that flight, and on the entire way there, I started charting out the songs because I didn't know some of the songs, most of them, and I was charting them out, trying to figure out the songs. And I remember this girl next to me. She's like, halfway through the flight, she's like, "May I ask what you're doing?" And she's like a girl around my age. I looked at her and I was like, yeah, I'm in a band and I just got to learn some songs. She's like, this is the best part. I never told you this either. She's like, she's like, oh, Sepultura? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, like you're in there? I was like, no, it's a cover band. And she's like, oh, can I get your Instagram? The whole thing. I gave her my Instagram, the whole thing. She goes to school in New York City. To this day, I think she still thinks like I'm crazy because I never told her the truth.
Wow.
But I couldn't tell anybody.
Yes,
Could not tell anybody. So we go to Hawaii, played the last Suicidal show. And it was really like kind of like emotional for all of us. It was like kind of like, damn. And actually, my good friend Chris, who was part of the crew, we sat on the dock in Hawaii the next morning after the show and just talked for like hours.
Damn. It's awesome.
I flew home and I had 8 days locked in my basement before I left. I had 8 days to learn the music, and I sat down there and I basically cut off every person in my life.
Yeah.
And just locked myself down there and I stressed out. And it was the hardest 8 days I think I've had in a long time, to be honest with you. Like,
wow.
And it wasn't like, the reason I say that, it was like really like a journey. Like those 8 days, I had every emotion somebody can experience. Like
totally.
Excitement, terror, fear, anger. Like it was literally everything. I was angry at myself for not being able to play parts or not get fast enough, or I was terrified. I was scared.
Was it hard to play for you?
Parts of them, yeah. So some of them, yeah. And it was really like to the point where I couldn't. There was the hardest thing for me was I had 8 days, and I was staring at a list of 25 songs. And I remember there was one day that I couldn't, and this sounds really weird to say, I couldn't focus at all, like at all. And I remember I was trying to learn Inner Self. And I remember sitting there trying to remember the parts. And I remember just going to my mom. I was like, I think I bit off more than I could chew. She's like, no, you could do it. I said, no. I said, because every goddamn time I try to learn the song, I think, oh, I got to get my shots tomorrow. And I got to get my flight. And I got to pack. And how many clothes am I going to bring? And what clothes am I going to bring? And where am I going to live on? Oh, what the language? Oh, the food. Oh, am I going to get sick from the water? Like, dude, every goddamn thought. Plus, you got to learn 25 songs. Plus, I don't know anybody in the band other than Derek for 1 hour we met, maybe.
That's fucking
And I'm
crazy.
going down there alone.
Yeah.
So I eventually get through it, and I don't tell anybody where I'm going. I couldn't. And I remember that night at JFK. I was at JFK and got on the flight, and it was a late flight. I think it was like 11:30 at night, and I got on the flight, and I realized I was like, well, here's the next chapter of my life. And I landed at 8:30 in the morning, and I went to the hotel, had lunch, and then I was straight to rehearsal the next morning.
He doesn't want to date or like, no, he wants to go straight to the studio. I was like, all right, here we go.
Were you listening to him on the flight going out there and stuff too?
Mm-hmm. I had to.
Were you stressed? Were you nervous? I mean,
terrified. Honestly, completely terrified.
Damn. How was the first rehearsal? Yeah.
Oh, it was, we were very optimistic, because we knew that it was a lot. It was a lot to take on. And so we didn't want to really be so particular, especially for the first gig. It was just like, let them just feel comfortable. We just wanted to make him feel comfortable, and we also just wanted him, the basis of the song. So we didn't expect him to be perfect, through everything. So it was definitely, like, take your time, we have a lot of shows in between these. It wasn't like back-to-back shows.
No.
It was like a few shows, I think.
It was like 2, and then we went back for a week.
Yeah. So it's like, so you can also, but just let's focus on the basics and where we, everybody is feeling comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I feel like there was a certain point where we clicked after a
Yeah.
few shows in.
Yeah.
And especially after the first tour. Like, we went on the first tour.
Yeah.
How big was the first show you played though?
Oh, that was
A
emotional.
lot.
Because the first show was in the hometown of Sepultura,
Okay.
in Belo Horizonte. And it was like a big gig because people from their past, before I was even involved in
A lot
the
of
picture,
history.
a lot of history.
And they had only announced it 2 days before the first show.
Yeah, they're like,
So
oh, by
people
the way,
were
we
like-
have a drummer.
2 days before the first show, people were like, what the hell?
Oh, so you
Yeah.
said who he was 2 days before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like once he was down there and it was locked in and we knew that was going to happen. And we explained the situation, how it happened and
They said it honestly.
honestly exactly how it happened. It was like, wow, this is a big shock, but Greyson is stepping in. He took the time to learn these songs,
Mhm.
so we can continue to go on and do this, respect for the name of the band
Totally.
and the end of the year, the end of the, the farewell.
Yeah.
So we want, we really wanted to continue to do that. And so a lot of the people in Brazil really understood the
Appreciate the
situation.
honesty.
They
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
the fact
Yeah.
that he came all the way down there, a different country, not even knowing the guys and learning all the songs to keep
Damn.
it going.
And I think that was important because, like, I made it a point to, it was the first band I've ever been in where people wait outside the hotel.
Okay.
It was the first band for me that people wait outside the van, things like that.
Yeah.
But I made it a point that, like, after every show, I was going down to the pit with my security guy and, like, saying hello and
Totally.
shaking people's hands.
you felt the
and
love right away?
I did, but I made it a point to do that because I wanted them to know that I wasn't just some kid coming up there like, these are my parts, like, oh, I'm a rock star now. No, like, I came
Yeah.
in there with full respect. Like, I wasn't
Totally.
doing anything, I was doing what Andreas and all of them needed.
Totally.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
But it was a crazy show, man. It was one of the
The first show was
biggest-
kind of emotional?
It
It
was
was
the
very.
biggest show that we'd ever played in that city.
Really?
Like our own solo show, pretty
was
much one of the
wild.
biggest. Yeah.
And it was like,
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like we, just as like friend wise, we clicked really quickly,
Yeah.
which was nice. Like the environment of the band and the
the
crew.
crew, everybody.
Everybody became kind of like refreshed. Like everybody became very like happy and like, and I
It's
didn't notice it
nice.
because I didn't know. But
I mean,
Yeah.
because the fact was, like, there was a chance that all of it could have been done.
and
with.
all of their
Like,
jobs,
'cause
all
we
of
had
their jobs
planned.
could have
Yeah,
been fired.
done. Yeah, it was like a year in planning, if not more.
Totally.
And all these people, like, their livelihood,
They're- and
like
they're-
that is where we're going to make our money for our families. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people
And I remember a
involved.
few of the guys telling me straight to my face that they had to commit to the band crew wise, so they canceled other gigs, other work,
Exactly.
Yeah.
and I was paying for people's kids' schooling.
It's crazy,
Like-
dude.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah. How nervous were you for that first show?
Pretty damn nervous. But again, I think the biggest thing that helped me is I realized, like, real quickly, we became friends. Like, everybody became. I don't know. How would you describe it? I think everybody just became one real
Yeah,
quick.
pretty much. Like, we all knew that we had to do this together, and we're all in this together. But we knew it was all right because he was there.
Totally.
And that was like, okay, this is really happening.
He's here.
So we
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
everybody was in the moment, together.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was a really good unity that we hadn't felt, like with the band, I think, in a really long time like that. There were new people working with us, a new stage, everything.
It's a
but-
rebirth, man.
It was total
And I
rebirth.
think
and it
the
was-
best feeling was like after the first block of shows, the first
Yeah.
month, I went home for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
We met in Panama, and from that show on, I think we became something else. Like we
Mm.
kind of became, between the crew and the band, kind of this, like, I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah.
It clicked.
It definitely clicked. Whereas everyone's like, okay, let's go for this.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, now we can really focus on
Yep.
on what's coming up ahead, and it was really important to have everybody locked in.
Yeah.
you know, have that tight connection with your crew.
Mhm.
You know, since we're going to be traveling the world for the next few years.
Yeah.
And once everybody thought like, okay, let's take a deep
Everybody
breath.
knew I was cool and nice
Yeah.
to be around.
And then it was just like, you know, each show is just getting better and better, you know, like the tightness, the confidence, you know, it's like, oh, okay, you're doing a little extra there. I see you, like, you know, like doing its own style within the music.
That's
so it's
nice, though.
it's a rebirth of the songs.
Totally.
Like I was like, wow, I never heard
Its own
it this
swag.
way. Like we were fortunate to always have fantastic drummers in Sepultura, each with their own style. And again, this is like another level where I never imagined the songs going. So it's really nice.
And that's a lot to commit to, too, not just because it's 3 years. Also, you're 21, you have all these things going on, you're still at home, and like you're still a kid, but you also are an adult, and you're, you know, doing your thing and grinding. But like, yeah, sure, I'm down for the next 3 years. It's not like saying like one tour.
Right.
You know what I mean? You guys been in it for like fucking 20 years. So like,
and we're definitely taking our time with this tour. So there's a lot of like space, you know,
smart,
to give ourselves and not to put everything in one block, you know. It's like really, you know, leaves that time for, because we all have other things that we like to do as well, other than the band. And I think that's healthy, you know, to be able to do those things and then come back,
100%.
you know, play those shows. And it's like, oh, you have a better appreciation for, you know, what you're doing when it's on a big level, you know. It's like a transformer, you know, come together and it's like, whoa.
That's why I'm excited, because like we have this huge run from July till basically December with a few breaks in between.
Yeah.
You know, July and August, it's not fully, you know, it's not like every day.
Yeah.
But me and Derek are staying down there for that time.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm kind of, it's really funny, like these past 4 days, like I could be home because, you know, technically I did my session I had to do yesterday, and I could be home today, tomorrow, like all these days. But I was like, my parents were too like, just enjoy yourself, because like from July till December you're gonna be grinding your ass off. Like, so I'm happy to be off for a little while.
It's cool. You got Agnostic Front on there too.
Dude, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Hardcore Legends on there. Obituary.
Hardcore Legends.
It's a crazy tour, man.
It's a crazy
People are stoked on it.
Very stoked, man. I'm stoked too. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun seeing a lot of like old heads and new heads. You know, there's a lot of like younger people, you know, still like a mixture at shows, and it's great. And especially with Greyson now, there's like people who.
There's younger people coming out for sure.
Definitely. I always see like messages like, can't wait to meet them.
It's
cool. It's a whole different world.
Totally.
So
I love that. You know, it's
have
like.
You played New York already together?
No.
Oh, because your parents haven't seen you yet.
That'll be the last show on the tour.
My
that's
parents
sick.
have not seen me Sepultura.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. Yeah.
They saw you Suicidal, obviously.
Yeah, they were at that New York show. They were at my first show in Rockville in Florida.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
What do they think about the music and stuff, dude?
It's really funny. So my parents actually, I thought they were going to be like, ugh. No. They love the energy of it.
That's
live.
Cool. Didn't they have like a camera, like who was holding up a camera at the first show in Brazil? Like FaceTiming.
Oh my gosh. My good friend Melissa, who I met through working with Suicidal, she's a very good friend of mine this day. She FaceTimed with my mom during my first show.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so
this is
sick.
what's happening.
They love it though. They love it. I think it's
You're probably so proud, man. You're doing like what you love.
You know, I think it's tough sometimes because, you know, again, it's hard on a different level sometimes with my family, because like my brothers and sometimes my parents, and especially any extended family, they don't understand it. They don't understand the life. They don't understand everything that goes on. And I think a lot of people, it's really just one of those lifestyles that like you don't really understand unless you do it.
You don't.
Right.
You don't. It's so different. Yeah, man.
And also I don't think people understand the type of person you have to be able to survive this.
Totally.
Which is the same thing, I think, which is why I'm so happy all that shit happened to me when I was young. Because now I'm able to do this at 21.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's not necessarily like all parties and rainbows and
It's
crazy.
It's
not.
I know.
And I think even sometimes, you know, whether it's my brothers or whoever, sometimes I think people.
It's all glamorous.
Yeah, and I think they, you know, travel's all glamorous and this is all travel. It's not.
It's not, dude.
And it's really funny because you'll get it like, oh, where are you? Oh, I'm in London. Oh, lucky. It's like, no. No.
I know. It's like,
shut up.
I think the real work in being in a band is the travel, the sleep, the eating, the hydration, the exhaustion, the jet lag.
That's so hard for me, dude.
Like on stage is the fun.
Yes.
And you're with your friends, and that's amazing.
And it's really a small part of the trip.
Yeah.
It's literally like
those 23 hours of like trying to eat, sleep, hydrate, exercise, stretch, all that.
So hard.
That's the work,
It's so
man.
hard,
It's a
dude.
lot.
It's a
Like
lot.
I just told people, yeah, we just did 9 shows in a row, just got home, 6 different countries, 9 days, and I'm 54. And they're like, dude, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't fucking
But that's
know.
the thing. That's the
But
part.
I love
the,
it.
the best part of that sentence. There's one part that I love about the sentence. 9 days.
Yeah.
Because when I was telling
shows,
some
yeah.
people about our trip to South America, I was talking to somebody, and she's like, "Oh wait, so where'd you go?" And I started listing the countries. She's like, "Oh, like starting in like February." I was like, "No, that was all April."
Yeah.
She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then I was telling her about like this tour we have coming up in Europe, and I was listing countries. She's like, "Oh, so like from July till December, that's Europe." I was like, "No, no." Like they have no concept of
They
how
have no
quickly you
concept.
actually can travel.
What's the most shows Sepultura does in a row?
I mean, we won't push it more than, I don't know,
Well,
maybe a week would be the most now. I mean, we've done 10 or 11 shows. I think 11 we've done in a
Total
row.
in the career you've been in the band?
without 1 day break, you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like this okay, well, like, yeah.
I mean, now we won't do more than a week. It's
So no more than 7 in a row.
I don't even think it's healthy to do it that way.
I don't
mean,
think so either.
I don't
I'm-
physically it's healthy. I don't think
physically
so.
it's not healthy. And the crew, I mean, it's everyone.
We just
you
had
know.
this conversation at our last show in Uruguay. We played at the last show, this last tour, in Uruguay, and we had taken a ferry
Oh, yeah.
from Argentina the night before.
It's dope.
Actually, that night, that morning we had landed. We basically took a ferry overnight from Argentina. We had played the night before in Argentina.
Brutal.
But it was just, I remember we were backstage, and me and Andreas and Derek were just looking at each other. We were like, this was hard as hell. Like, this was hard as hell because, like, it was
Yeah.
South America. We were flying every day.
Dude. Early
Um,
morning flights, lobby calls.
that's one of the things. I remember
Yeah,
Andreas
it's
saying,
brutal.
like, what it was, like 4 a.m. lobby calls on that tour.
Yeah.
Dude.
It was brutal.
Don't go to
It's
bed.
literally
you're
like-
still like jacked up from the
Yeah,
show.
but
You're
the
trying
thing,
to
that, the thing that I love is
Yeah.
the tour bus. I love tour buses
Best.
because I can sleep like
Can't
a
wait.
baby.
Me too. Those little
Dude,
coffins.
the U.S. tour, I don't want to jinx it, but that thing's going to be easy as hell compared to the other ones.
I love sleeping overnight, waking up in the cities. You have all day in the cities when you're in the bus.
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
wake up at like,
dude.
my whole thing is I wake up like 8, 9. I find a coffee shop. I run. I walk. I just
Yeah.
explore.
Check out the city.
Dude, it's my favorite thing.
Mhm.
It's a game changer for bands, man.
For sure. No
Being on the
doubt. I
bus.
mean, you can take naps.
Any time of the day.
That's, I was like, naps.
I love.
naps.
I can't sleep unless the bus is moving, though.
Right.
That's when it shakes me to sleep.
Yeah, I
love
do have
that.
a hard time when it's
When it
not
stops, I
moving.
wake up.
Dude,
Yeah.
I love my favorite feeling. You know the feeling of like post beach, like you're full of sun, you take a shower, and then you're like cozy?
Oh yeah.
The equivalent though, post show, you take a shower and you just cozied up in the green room, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go to the bus. and then you go to the bus whenever the hell you
With your
want.
shower shoes on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just chilling the front
I
lounge.
know.
Especially if you have a day off the next day.
Oh.
That's even more like, yeah.
Yes.
I'd rather be in a bus than fly. Flying's
For
fun,
sure.
man.
100%.
Me 100%.
No doubt about that.
I got some friends on tour now. They're flying every night on tour.
That
Dude,
sounds
you know what was,
crazy.
that sucked for me the most was like, I think with the way I describe it is like on a bus, you have a home base.
Yes.
You
Sure,
can
but-
leave your stuff in your bunk. You can leave your stuff like in a place.
It's your backstage whenever you want it to
It's
be.
your
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
But the hotel, I hate that. Like, open the suitcase, throw your stuff, and then put it back and make sure you don't forget anything. And then you
Totally.
feel like
Yeah.
a nomad. You
Yeah.
feel like this weird sort of like lost feeling.
It's
Yeah.
a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. And how does it feel that, I mean, it's changed so much having a lot of people. I know Brazilians are like
Mhm.
wild about, with internet and
Yeah.
everything and reaching out to you
Yeah.
and being recognized,
Yeah,
there.
that was a lot of
so
things me
quickly.
and Derek
Long
talked
Island
about.
celebrity in Brazil.
It happened.
Yeah.
It happened overnight. Like,
Literally,
yeah,
yeah.
and it's not even like funny because a lot of people are like, oh, I got the call and my life changed overnight. No, it actually did. Like, so
Wow.
what happened was, we were rehearsing and nobody knew about anything. There was one tweet that went out that said there's a gringo rehearsing with Andreas Kisser of Sepultura.
No way.
Swear to God.
No
That
fucking
happens.
way.
And
But
people
Gringo's
start,
not negative.
it's not
turn
negative
Brazil.
at all.
Any stranger. I'm just saying for
It's
the
just
people out
funny
there.
when you said it.
But
Sorry.
but so what happens is that's online, and everybody's kind of like, oh shit. But once they announced it, they announced it at rehearsal. I went to the hotel that night, and the next morning, the next day we weren't rehearsing. I remember I was walking around, and I got stopped within about 10 seconds after getting outside the hotel. And I got so weirded out because I knew that they knew I was staying there. And I mean, literally every time I'd leave the hotel, I'd get stopped at least 4 or 5 times.
Pictures, hello, whatever.
Yeah.
All that, yeah. So who like dropped dime about him being the studio, rehearsal, hotel?
So apparently it was somebody that was rehearsing at the studio.
Yeah.
And then I was getting texts, is it true? I wouldn't answer. And then once it was announced, it blew. I mean, once it was announced, it was on like CNN Brazil. Like it was on like big time shit.
Yeah.
And then everybody, and then to be honest with you, I'm getting stopped in the U.S. way more than I thought I would.
Wow.
Even now, yeah. Because I mean, I would get stopped before just from like the drumming world. Like, they knew me.
Some people in Brazil like, yo.
They already knew me in the drumming world.
Yeah.
But then now it's like double whammy. It's like drumming and.
And do you love Brazil?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
You had some acai?
Oh, I didn't. I didn't have the actual. I want to have the actual one.
Yeah.
I keep telling people that.
You never had it when you were down there?
I had the ice cream shit. I want the real one.
You just need your real deal, bro.
I want the
classic spot.
The foosh, whoa, fish. Like the they have it, they eat it with like, that's a meal, right?
Yeah, and that one part of Brazil, they have the original.
Are we going there?
But that's, we will be. We'll be there in December. It's November and November.
Oh, those? Okay.
Yeah, it must be exciting. It's like going to a new country. I'm playing a new band. That's so much.
I'll tell you this. It was really hard at first because the first month I spent in a hotel.
True.
Yeah. That was really hard.
And a whole month? Damn.
But thankfully, this next time, I'm doing got like a little apartment
Oh,
set
that's
up.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
short-term apartment.
Yeah, which is a lot.
That's where you stay too, right, Derek?
Yes.
We guys been in the same apartment complex?
No. He wants to go to the park. There's like a huge like central park
that I run. I
love
love the big central park there.
And
now, if there's no place that's clean and nice in that area to stay in, that's relatively affordable, then I'll probably go to his spot, which is a nice spot.
Are you a big runner?
Yeah, I love it.
How long have you been running for?
Since I was 17, 18.
Wow. Have you run marathons before too?
2.
New York one or no?
No, I've never done like a sanctioned one.
Okay.
I did like, hey, Dad, be back in 5 hours. Even though it took me like, the quickest I did was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You ever want to do a marathon?
I want to do an actual one, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I never done that either. I would love to do that.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, oh, where's your medal? I'm like, dude, I did it. I have proof, but like, I never did an actual like group
What kind of running
thing.
shoes you rock?
Hoka's.
All right.
Ooh, okay.
Well, we're going to get you some ons.
I know.
I've been talking
what size shoes are you?
Let's do it. 10 and a half or 11.
Oh, okay.
Shit. Okay.
We got some?
Yeah, I'm going to get
Hell yeah.
I'll get you some. It's easy,
Let's
dude.
go.
Yeah.
Hunter,
Let's go.
I like Hokas too. I rocked Hokas first.
Yeah,
but
or Brooks. I wore
those are
Brooks
classics
for a while.
But the Hokas are so wide and heavy for me, man.
I was going on about it the entire tour, the crew and
well,
everybody.
it got to the point where he had our lighting guys.
Oh, yeah.
Get them somewhere, and then
Chili, he was
one
like
of the other
searching.
dudes. One of the other dudes was like, "Hey, can I have your address?" And I was like, "For what?" He's like, "Oh, I want to send. Can I send stuff to your house you bring down to Brazil for me?" And I'm like, "Sure, send whatever." And I think they're shoes. Yeah.
Because it's cheaper.
Yep.
Here.
To bring ons?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
They're super expensive in Brazil.
I know you're working on a project right now. You
Yeah.
can talk about, but are you still doing you still do session work? You still do all that kinds of stuff too, right?
Yeah. Yesterday I was in the studio.
And do you have does your a management for that or a team to like pitch you to those kind of projects?
Well, I used to have a little bit of like support in that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where I had a few situations happen and I got really jaded on the whole manager thing, the whole producer thing.
It's too much.
My circle is me and my dad.
It's great. It's all you need, man.
He helps me negotiate it because he knows nothing about music.
Nice.
It's awesome, dude.
Right.
Which is great because he doesn't have any he's not like a dadager.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, Dad, can you negotiate like how much I'm getting paid for this thing with that guy? He's like, sure. And he does it.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
a lot of that comes naturally too. Like people call me for sessions and all that. And I did a really awesome big one yesterday.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. Hung out with Vinny Colaiuta yesterday at the studio, which
you talked about earlier.
You two were like, who?
I know.
They're like, who is she?
She.
Do you have like any dream collabs to work with or dream
collabs?
I understand like pop acts earlier. That was a long time ago, different vision, but like Just playing with
There's
somebody.
people that I want to meet that I'm so close to meeting.
Yeah.
I'm in the world, but like
Especially
I
now.
would still fanboy hard over them. Like I have to like. There's like one person that like is the reason I play drums,
Whoa.
and like if I meet him, like it's over.
Jazz dude.
Carter Beauford,
Okay.
Dave Matthews Band drummer.
Oh wow,
Okay.
that's
All
cool.
right.
No, like legit, like my like number one hero.
Oh, you might be listening. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
But that's
Yeah.
a small world. That
Yeah.
could totally happen, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you ever work real jobs before all that? Like, was it only been
Well,
music?
My dad during the flipping houses era, I used to do demo.
Oh, nice.
Oh, shit, demolition. Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to take a sledgehammer,
kinda
and
fun.
break walls.
Son, that's
It was
what
awesome.
I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That was nice.
did
Yeah.
that, and I worked for a couple of his other businesses. He did just manual labor type stuff, and then shoveled a lot of snow in New York.
So what was like your
Winters.
last clock-in job you had before music?
Oh, for my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing hourly. Like
That's
he was
hard
doing
work.
this. Yeah, he was doing this thing with. Do you know like those refrigerators and like microwave combos that are in dorm rooms?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
There's like a company that he's part of that basically they have in dorm rooms for safety, the microwaves have to have like an automatic shut off if there's
Okay.
any smoke.
Okay.
But there's a unit that's really awesome. It's like a microwave built into a refrigerator for college dorms.
Gotcha.
And he was responsible and still is for delivering them on all of Long Island
Oh shit,
for
nice.
all of the colleges, all that. So I would do that. I would drive like a U-Haul full of refrigerators and deliver them upstairs to
Wow.
dorm rooms. Yeah,
Damn.
things physical. Yeah, dragging a refrigerator up like a dorm room set of stairs with no elevator.
I love that you still live at home. It's cool.
Yeah, I have no reason to move
Yeah,
out.
Max lives at home. He's 21. I love it. It's awesome.
I
Man.
have no reason, People are like, oh, do this. I'm like, no, I'm saving all my money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart.
I'm
Enjoy
saving
it.
it.
Enjoy
It's
it.
not being an idiot. Just
Yeah,
having
yeah.
fun.
Home.
Especially in New York, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like you'll be in New York the rest of your life?
Say this. Every time I go back to Long Island, I always say, God damn it, I love it here.
Yeah.
Nice.
My dream would probably be to stay there and then get a house in the middle of nowhere.
Mm.
Like, I want like a place in like Utah
Okay.
or like Northern California, like some place like out of the way,
Right.
That's cool.
and go up there for a few months or
You
whatever.
have such a long life ahead of you, dude. It's freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
but at this
man.
point,
It's
at this
crazy.
point, when we keep traveling, I keep saying, man, Chile might not be too bad either.
Yeah.
Like,
You like
You're
Chile
gonna-
too?
I like all these places,
Yeah,
dude.
You're gonna
Chile's
discover a lot of new places.
Dude,
I mean,
like-
what place that you haven't been that you're excited about that's coming up?
Oh yeah.
Well, on the tour that's actually listed,
Right.
well, there's parts of Germany that I've been to, but I want to go to the other parts. We're going to Germany.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Belgium. I've always
Great.
dreamed of going
Bass
there.
was played there last week. Incredible.
How
scene
was
there.
it?
Incredible.
Czech
Great show.
Republic. My
Yeah.
dream is I want to go to Japan.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's gonna be on your last
For sure.
farewell.
Better
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Japan's that's like a life
Yeah.
cultural shock, life changer.
Yeah.
Appreciate.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just so beautiful, and the people there are so respectful. It's just incredible, man.
It's
Yeah.
an incredible place.
Just everything.
Yeah.
Look, everything. I can't explain it, man.
yeah. You
My
have to see
favorite
for
place to
yourself.
play was Japan. First time
Really?
going there was
Some of my favorite,
mind-boggling,
for sure.
dude.
It's one
millions
of my
of
favorite
people-
places to
Millions
go.
of people that cross that one corner intersection
my
every
God.
The fact
day.
is,
Somehow
every
it
time
still
you go
works
there,
out.
it's like something new. I
Yeah.
always find something. I'm like, man, I never noticed this before. Oh,
Shows
my
are
God.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like they don't make. I don't think they do anymore. Back in the '90s or even 2000s, in between songs, they don't clap because they show respect. So you can speak on the microphone. Sometimes kids
It's
will
like
come on
dead
stage and
silent.
they bow to me before they
Wow.
bow before they stage dive.
Bow
Like,
before they stage
Back
dive.
then, yeah, man.
Yo, that's amazing.
When I was there was no bikes with locks. There was no graffiti on the trains.
Wow.
Yeah.
I lost my wallet. Had $400 cash in it. Somebody returned it to the police department. They brought it to my show the next day.
What the
with
heck?
the cash in it.
What?
True story, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
True story. Crazy over there.
Wow.
Man. The food, everything, man.
You're going to love it.
One of my questions to you also is, you have any major regrets in your life?
Ooh, major regrets. Ooh. I don't think regrets. There's things that keep like, I wonder if I would have done this, if it would have turned out differently.
Mm.
I don't regret anything.
Like college or something, or?
No. Well, I've always been into nutrition.
Wow.
Yeah. Since I was sick, when I turned my life around.
So be a nutritionist.
Yeah, that's one thing.
You could do that and
well,
do what
the
you're doing.
problem is like, I tried to find online courses of it that I honestly would do it to. Like, I would do it right now if I could. They're all in person, dude. They're all like, you have to do the lab shit. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's no downtime for you to do that.
I wish there was.
I think you could
But
put
it's
that on
also
your-
like, I wonder what what I would do with it. It's just I have such a passion for it.
Yeah.
The whole nutrition fitness thing, I love that.
You're a pretty healthy eater and all that stuff?
Yeah, I try.
Regimented and all your stuff. And damn, you work out every day?
Yeah.
How's your mental?
Mental?
Yeah, mental health.
On the road, it's hard. It's hard. It's like, I'm weird because I'm definitely some sort of workaholic, not even like joking, because it's like, I'll get like, it's not really like FOMO, but it's like, I'm not doing something, I'm not getting better, so I must be falling behind kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And then recently, dude, the biggest thing has been imposter syndrome. Like for real. Like for real. Yeah. Because
Like
dude,
in the position you're in now, you mean?
Yeah. When I got that, I was like, this is not me. This should not be me. I'm not in the right. I should not be doing this. Like, this is not for me. Like the whole thing. My parents were like, no, it is. Like, you earned it.
Are you a pretty harsh critic of yourself?
Oh, the harshest.
I see.
But it's hard because what I struggle with is, and I've had to get used to it, is like, I'll get really sort of weirded out if any of those, like, you know, those fans that come up crying.
Yeah.
Or those like people that are like, you've changed my life. I get like weirded out. Not in like I'm like, it's like a bad thing, but it's just like, I'm like, why? Why me? Like, I don't do anything that special that equates to you crying. Like, that's how, like, it's hard for me to like say that, but it's like.
Are you an emotional person?
No. Because of all that shit I went through, I turned into this like more machine. Anything.
So you haven't cried in a long time?
Oh, I have, but like not like that. You had to make me cry today, Toby?
Yeah.
That was the whole goal.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're emotional. Yeah. So you don't get
no
why people are inspired by you.
I don't. I've always had a hard time understanding because I've worked so hard for this.
Yeah.
And I continue to, and I'm so hard on myself that it's been hard for me to kind of like process everything. Like, it's feel like everything has went so quickly.
It does
like
seem
in the
like
last
that.
year, like my life has changed so much in the past year.
Yeah.
That it's hard to even for me to like understand it. And I
I
feel like
get
sometimes I'm like, what the hell? Like, I was telling my mom the other day, I was like, I feel like my life like is like a roller coaster. I'm like holding on like while it just goes.
Yeah.
Because it's just like thing after thing after thing. And
but you're enjoying it.
yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think sometimes it's hard for me to balance like I don't know. I've had to be brutally honest with a lot of people, like friends and stuff, about like, hey, like I can't get into a relationship. I can't do this. I can't do that. Like, I'm just stressed out of my goddamn mind in a good way.
Yeah.
But like, that's like the age I'm at where like, you know, people around me think I can live the same life other people can. And I kind of want to sometimes.
Yeah.
But then I snap into like, oh shit, I can't do that.
Like having like a girlfriend or something, a relationship.
Yeah.
too?
Like I would love to, but I can't. You know, it's like, it'd be like, this is one person I was telling my mom about. I'm like, it would be unfair for me to date this person.
Yeah. And for her.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be completely unfair because I just am not home right now. I'm working. I don't really have the time for that.
There's only certain type of women that can understand a guy in a band and can deal with it.
Not many, but
And also don't assume that they're just an asshole.
Totally.
That's the biggest
Because
thing.
there's so many stereotypes about musicians. It's 100% true.
Exactly.
So it's like you got to know what you signed up for.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of girls I know from my friends and bands that they'll meet a musician, they'll love him, they get together, and she's like, okay, quit touring because I need you at home.
Oh, that's the last thing
and
I'll
like,
do,
yo,
though.
you met me, I was a musician. This is what I fucking do.
Right.
So it's like, that shit's crazy.
That's the one
too.
thing I promised my first drum teacher and then my parents, because they were like, whatever you do, don't let a girl tell you to stop doing it. I was like, oh, hell no. That's the one thing I've been good at, is like making sure that doesn't get in the way of it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's definitely tough because at the same time, you're like, oh, like I never think of myself as different, but then I have to treat myself as different. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Like you have to close yourself off a little bit because you are at such a high level now. Like Greyson, like, come on, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's also like I joke that I don't have enough ego sometimes because I don't have sometimes the mind to say that I'm like, you know how some people in this world will kind of get like too celebrity
Oh,
Excuse
yeah,
me.
totally.
And
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
get like closed off and like weird.
Totally.
But I think you need a little bit more than I have. Like, I think I need a little bit more than I have because sometimes I'm a little too nice. And people are like, what are you doing? Like, you know, like, how are
Yeah.
you, like, aren't you like, I'm like, yeah, but I'm just a normal kid.
Yeah,
Like,
but you're not letting it
can't-
get to your head. That keeps you humble, too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're still
Yeah.
a kid from Long Island living with your parents.
But
and
I've
fucking
done dumb shit. Like, I've done, like, dumb things where I'm just like, yeah, it's stupid. Like, I remember there was one night we were down in Brazil and I was like, with one of our techs, and I was like, "Oh, let's go out. Like, let's just not like late, but let's just go down the street." And one of the band managers was like, "You realize like that arena is right there?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Are you joking?" He's like, "You can't go into a bar
Yeah.
like right now."
Yeah.
Like things like
That's
that where
true,
I'm just a
yeah.
little like airhead of like, "Oh, living my life," but then like, "Oh, wait, snap out of it. Like you're doing something pretty cool."
And you're in Brazil with this band. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
like-
like little things like that I think I have to slowly get used to.
I was thinking you might cry when you met the drummer from Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, I definitely will.
Wow.
So you get
fuck-
emotional.
I
You'd
will
be just like the fans that come up to
You
you.
gotta
It'll
make-
save my
we gotta-
fucking life.
We
So
gotta
you
get
get
that-
it, though.
we gotta
Oh,
make that
100%.
happen.
Yeah, but it's still awkward for you to take it in, digest that. Like, me? Why me? Imposter
Well,
syndrome.
yeah,
like,
that too. Yeah, it's definitely like the why me because I don't think of myself as any different.
Mhm.
I think that's what makes it tough.
yeah.
You know?
You feel like you deserve your position you're in now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The thing
you
that,
worked hard and
the
you earned that
thing- I
position.
think the thing that bugs me is recently I've been dealing with. I'm sure you guys have dealt with it too. Is I've had a few people that I knew before all of this. Say we were friends a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
And because of life, and we're both busy, we haven't really stayed in touch. But nothing happened. Nothing.
Yeah. But
Get back in touch, hang out once, twice, and the little comments of like, "Oh, it must be easy for you," kind of start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is my
So we're
theory
kinda-
is those people put up like a little, they like prejudice, like prejudge you
totally.
because they think you changed. I haven't changed.
And there's ounce of jealousy in there too, and hating
like,
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's the
Yo,
biggest
what's
thing.
up, Hollywood?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
All that
what's
stuff.
But that reflects their own insecurities on you.
Absolutely.
But that's happened a handful of times recently.
Oh, too cool, all this or that, or just
Yeah, but it's very sly. Like
Right,
people
right.
that are like in bands that are like not at our level, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh well, you know, we don't get catering. Oh, we don't get this. We don't get that." And I'm like, but like it'll happen. Little sly ones are like in the drum world too. Like, "Oh, I don't get pre-sticks." Like that stuff. And for a while it bothered me. Then I realized like, you know what? You just showed me that you're not supposed to be in this circle.
yeah,
You're out of the circle.
Yeah.
yeah,
And what's really beautiful is though, like, there's this one person who is like my literal, like, she's like my best friend. Her name's Alexis, and she, and I have been best friends since we were like 14, maybe.
yeah.
But these people were kind of in somewhat similar circles that we were like mutual friends with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But she was always the one who never did that to me, and that was like the kind of pinpoint of like, if I was at a table with the four of them or whatever, 4 people, and the 3 of them acted that way, she didn't. I said, yeah, that makes total sense because she never changed
Yeah.
based on
Right.
me never changing. You know, I was
Totally.
always me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
she always believed in that, you know, which was like, oh, okay, well, check. She's in the little small circle.
yeah, it's
kind
all
of
you
thing.
need though. Like good, like yeah,
It's
Good,
really
solid
important to have
friends.
those solid friends, you know, in a small circle. I know that, like,
quality over quantity.
absolutely. I mean, there's people like a friend of mine from childhood. She was like a masseuse for the Cavaliers, and she was
Wow.
like,
Oh,
with
wow.
LeBron James, and she was like, I was like, yo, what's up with them? And she was like, it's really interesting. He always has like a small group of friends they grew up with to keep his head and
That's
ego.
how I am.
You know,
Love that
like they
shit.
treat you no matter they know you.
That's
They
the
really
thing.
know you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing. Like, I think that's mentally the hardest thing. If you're going to say, like,
Mhm.
what's hard mentally for me, it's like, I can't really trust people now fully, which I think is
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But it's like, I'll get really sort of like, I wonder if this person, if they're not one of those people that I've already
yeah,
known
Mhm.
for
totally.
a while. Because now it's also like, well, what's your intention? Like, why do
Yeah.
you want to be
Right.
my friend?
Right, right.
Even with dating somebody too, all that.
Especially, it's like, well, why do you want to be my friend if I'm not even home and I'm busy? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why do
Yeah.
you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Right, right.
Like it's odd.
Mhm.
I wonder why. You
We
know?
have like people hitting you up for the guest list when you play New York and all that shit. Too.
oh,
my God.
that's already happened. That's already started. It's already started. It's already started.
Fun.
Are you
I had that here at LA. Oh, you're in LA? I just didn't answer the text. Like, you're in LA, let's hang out.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to hang out with you.
Are you do you answer? You talk to people in DMs on social media? Do Do you get bummed at a bad comment or a negative thing? Do you respond to people?
I will look at the DMs, and if they're cool and genuine, I'll answer.
Yeah.
Comments, I'm actually really good at like recognizing profile pictures if they're like consistent. And, like I'll just remember that person's face or whatever. I'll be like, oh, that person's like a genuinely cool fan. Like they
That's
are
cool.
always dedicated to my stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
The negative stuff, no. I got used to that pretty early. And then especially with Sepultura, like that was a different level. So I was like, all right,
Yeah.
no more Reddit, no more Twitter, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Like
It's just,
no more looking at if somebody tagged me.
yeah.
No. And especially with like this whole like 3 drummer thing, like I got tagged in so many of those like
3 drummer thing.
pyramid
Trio.
things and the this and the conspiracy theories.
Wow.
And, yeah, there's some really good
Wow.
conspiracies out there. You can go on a rabbit hole later. Yeah,
Wow.
look it
How
up.
about you 3? Wow, that's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, we were paid off by like there was like one I read on Reddit, and it was about like that we were all contracted by the Illuminati
Bro, dude.
to start this like
I knew it.
dude, it was this whole thing.
Strum Coalition.
No, they really
knew
thought
there was
that
something
like
going on.
we're all in cahoots with each other, and the bands paid each other like a trade, and I was just like, yo, I wish.
I saw there was some stuff like that by Drake and Kendrick too.
Right.
I wanted to get all that stuff too. Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different world, different level, man.
Yeah, so once I joined the band, I said, oh well, Reddit's done. I'm done with Reddit.
It's
over.
It's a cesspool. of
It's
fucking
awful.
message board
It's
and shit.
awful.
Good.
It used to be good.
terminology.
It used to be a cool spot. I don't even know.
For drums especially. Like I
Okay.
would look up like how to tension this pedal or how to fix this or how to
okay.
then. And
It's just
nowadays
technical stuff.
the drum thing is all just drama.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's stupid.
Drama is definitely unneeded.
Are you an optimist or pessimist?
I try to be an optimist.
Seemed like it.
Yeah. But I spend too much time worrying. I used to spend a lot of time worrying.
Swear about
I
everything.
used to overthink a ton.
Just everything, not just drums, just everything.
Just everything. Just everything I did. Everything I've done. Just like replaying it in my head, you know? And then I realized that you can't change it. You just got to
You're a
keep.
perfectionist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so you stay on yourself. Like, if you met, do you like when you play a show, film it and look, watch it back, stuff like that? You study your stuff like that? People do that? Okay.
Mhm. Parts of it, yeah.
And like nitpick little things or
Definitely.
like if you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it's funny because then you actually start to, if you get that picky, especially if I start to get that picky about things as a band too,
Yeah.
it's funny because then I watch like old videos and I say, oh, so I'm not the only one who messed up. You know, like I'll watch an old recording and I'm like, oh, this is definitely clearly a mistake. You know, it's like, it's funny to just like watch that.
Yeah.
You know, it's good. It's a good thing
beautiful.
though.
Yeah,
it's a
it
good
is.
thing.
I used to definitely be a little uptight about that, but when I look at old stuff, I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's the moment. You can't change it now.
No.
And it was meant to be. You
Mhm.
know, it's,
Yeah.
you definitely learn from those mistakes, and it's necessary. You know, it's a whole part
Yeah.
of it.
Yep.
Maximus, come here. Any more questions for him?
So many.
I'm sure you have
gotta-
something.
Give him some. Give him some.
I'm sure you have something, Derek.
Give him some, Derek.
I'm sure you have something. My question is
Max-
after this, can you guys bring me some like really good vegan food? Because I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah, we got you.
Ooh.
We'll take
I've eaten nothing.
you to
today.
the green table.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Max had some questions, Max.
Yeah. You got some
You said you had some
Max.
questions for him. Hold that mic.
Talk afterwards.
No, I thought you had some questions on the pod.
for the pod.
Pull the microphone up.
For
to
the
your face.
pod.
Well, I don't know if you guys already talked about stuff like this.
Go ahead, man.
Try it.
What growing up, I don't know how old were you when you started playing drums?
4.
Okay, that was like same time with me. What were like starting like growing your progression? What did you listen to and play along with?
Ooh, good question.
Also, I know you are so insanely good because you can you chart your music, don't you?
No.
You don't chart your music?
No.
What were you doing on the plane? I thought you were talking about that.
Well, that's different. That's
So you
different.
can
The
chart-
songs.
So
Well,
you chart songs.
what I'll do is I'll go like, take the song "Dusted" by Sepultura, and it has the same riff twice, but the end of each riff goes into a different spot. Meaning it'll go the main riff, and then the first time there'll be a I can't remember. It'll be like a break, and then the second time the same riff, but then it'll be actually no wait. The first time the riff happens, and then there's a bunch of hits. Da 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 da, and then there'll be the main riff again. But then instead of going hits again, it'll be a break.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Stuff like that, I'll go maybe 1 will signify the groove. So I'll go 1 H, 1 B, meaning we'll do the 1 section, then there's going to be the hit section, then there's going to be the 1 section, the break section.
Okay.
Or a star or something like that. That's how I'll chart it out because I can't do
Okay.
I don't do like the whole like 8 notes, quarter notes thing. I can't do that.
I've thought about doing exactly
Like
that
just
before
basically
for songs.
like a roadmap, you know? And then maybe I'll do a lot of times I'll do a dash for like a break. So I'll do like or actually what's even cooler is I'll do like the part of the drum set. So I'll do like H for hi-hat. So I'll do H. So hi-hat groove, being just H means hi-hat groove for me. It'll be H, H, and then maybe I'll do HT for hits, or I'll do a star for hits. H star, H B, meaning H, and then the hits, then the hi-hat again, and then the break. But that's only if songs like I'm, just learn them or don't really feel confident.
Yeah.
Okay.
Memory.
What about listening to growing up?
Yeah, and what songs would you
Oh,
play? What were the
man.
best songs and best bands in your opinion that you played along to practice and get your groove and chops up?
I was
give me-
really
yeah.
specific. Like I would get to the point where I wanted to work on something on my drumming, and I would find a drummer that was so good at that thing, and then I would watch them and watch them. So like, I just was hanging with Vinny yesterday, Vinny Caluta, and I told him to his face yesterday. I said, "There's a video, Vinny." I said, "From 1993 of you playing with Sting in Oslo," and he looked at me. He's like, "Oh my God, you remember this
Sting
like,
drummer.
exact like?" I was like, "Oh yeah." There's one video of you playing this one song on this exact concert in Oslo, like the whole thing. He was shocked. But it's the idea, like I would go like deep. Like I would just find a drummer and learn like their top songs. And like Carter Beaufort, Dave Matthews Band, like the top
Dave Matthews Band.
like songs from them. And then I'd go like Neil Peart and then just learn like 2 or 3 of his songs and his parts. And then all the jazz guys. And then I was weird because I was never, there's very few albums that I can sit and listen to the whole thing. I'm just not that kind of person. Like there's very few albums I love to the point where I'm like, I love this album. I have them, but they're like picky. I'm very picky with them. So for me, it was more like, I got to find things that keep me interested. So I got to find the band that has like these 6 songs that are so hard on drums. I got to learn those 6.
Yeah.
And then I can consider that a band I like kind of thing. You get that?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I just did it. And the minute I would get bored, I would find something else.
Yeah. And that was a young age starting to do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did that. I didn't understand what I was doing until I was 10 or 11. From 4 on, I was just learning from my teacher and just learning. I had no concept of like you can learn from watching.
Yeah.
I wish I had a teacher sometimes.
I wish I teach you back then.
Sometimes I wish I learned how to read music.
Yeah.
I wish
I thought you did it. I thought you did Hamilton.
Piano.
Okay. Read piano.
I
yeah.
wish I learned how to play jazz,
Okay.
like jazz band at my school. 'Cause
Well,
that's
an interesting thing. When you say you wish you learned how to play jazz, what about playing drums in a jazz band do you feel you missed out on?
nothing.
So,
But I think the technique, everything about.
but
being
that's
able
something
to
you could
play-
easily learn now.
I agree, but when you're in high school and you're doing it after school, it was just so much more of like, I don't know, somewhat of a drive. But
Yeah.
I do wish being in jazz band, because I, in my opinion, I think some of the best drummers in the world are originally jazz drummers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Founded
But I have a
in
question for
jazz.
you. Do you put those people on a pedestal?
No.
Good.
No.
Don't. Because the biggest thing is a lot of these guys in the drum world want to put these jazz drummers or metal drummers on a pedestal. They want to like, oh, I wish I learned how. It's like the actual thing they were doing, I could teach you in 10 minutes. It's nothing. Now, those guys, those jazz, the problem with, I think you're in the best spot possible, to be honest with you, where you want to learn the technique and all that stuff from jazz, but you're not in a jazz band right now. You're not doing that regularly. That's so much better.
Mm.
The danger with the whole jazz drumming thing is, and this gets so controversial, but I don't really care. Jazz drumming is so rooted in academia,
Okay.
meaning
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
tied into teachers, the culture of a teacher, and it is so tied into the culture of a class, and it is so tied into a college, and that whole thing, it's tied in. I'm sorry, but the drummers that I look up to and I really love, who did they learn from? Watching and learning, because in the 1940s, sorry, there was no YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
And if anything, it was just records. And guess what? Oh, the big thing that gets me, oh boy, don't get me started on this one, is the thing with jazz drumming is they're very, a lot of jazz drummers are very, this technique is the right way. This is the wrong way.
This is it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that so much. I think there's a benefit in learning the technique because the physical technique on the drums to play that allows you to play other styles easier.
That's
And
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's something I could teach. Anybody could teach. You could teach yourself, kind of thing. That,
Okay.
and I think I'm in a great spot because even like yesterday, it's really funny. I was in the studio and I was not doing jazz at all, but it's really funny because when I was playing on this part, I did it in one take. I did the whole thing in one take.
Damn.
And what was really funny is afterwards, we were doing, we were like trying some ideas for overdubs of a different song. So I did the main song in one take. So we had some extra time, and we were talking about snare drums and things like that. And it was funny because I actually was playing too dynamically for the song, which is the best problem to have
Mm.
because I was doing the snare roll. And I would start too quietly. But that's something where the finesse, and that's obviously, it was easy. I just did it again. I just didn't start as quiet.
Yeah.
But the finesse thing, that's what happens when people just play rock, metal. It's harder to go from bash, 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 bash to learn how to have so much control you can play quiet.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
very true.
But when you
Yeah.
play quiet and finesse and you practice that and then you bash, oh, it's easy as hell to now go fast, loud, you know?
Yeah.
Now, the thing that I think is beneficial is to learn the physical, and it's literally physical. It's like a physical, the way you hold the sticks is different kind of thing, or that. And once you learn that, you can play the records and you're equally as
Mm.
attentive, I would say.
Yeah. You talk about jazz too, because Mackie was a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
That's one of your favorite
I just
drummers.
started drums so opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, but the
Bash, bash.
benefit is you're bashing with other people.
True.
If you play finesse with other people, now you're playing jazz.
Yeah.
It's no different because you already have the hardest part. The hardest part is the real life thing.
Yeah. Traveling, touring, playing shows consecutively.
Not even that. The real life part of can you get in a room with playing somebody else?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Other
Can you just
musicians.
play with somebody else?
True.
Because
Just
just like we're
jam.
talking about the Instagram people,
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
true.
can't play with other people.
It's true.
I have people that I know, but we'll talk about that after. I'm gonna get dressed.
Yep.
Get dressed. Get food with him.
Thanks for your input, Max.
More questions for him?
You have to have something, Derek.
Yeah.
Any burning questions after all of our time in South
What
America?
What was one of the most difficult songs for you to learn? in
Oh my God, this is
Sepultura,
good.
And what about the song was difficult for you?
I had two. I would say. Oh, thank you. I would say that the hardest overall for me, was probably Inner Self.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time I was learning it again, I was so stressed out and mentally it was really hard to remember all the parts because there's so many changes in
there's
it
a lot
and
of
there's a
changes.
lot of that stuff that it makes it hard. Then what was the other part of it?
What about it made it so
Oh,
difficult?
Yeah, it was just the amount of elements in the song.
I see.
Like it just to actually remember and be focused. Once I had my bearings in order and I could actually like think straight and all
Right.
that, I felt fine because I could dial in and like was comfortable.
What's something new that you never knew before playing with us now? Like that was something. Wow! This is a new discovery playing this style of music or something within the music. Was there
I would
anything?
say I learned that I was a lot more capable than I believed I could be.
Okay. Right.
And I would say also I learned that it's really interesting playing in a band that is so dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Like that tempos actually matter.
Yes. Yeah.
That like because I've been in other groups where like, you know, if you play a song 20 BPM faster, it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
Like it sounds the same. You know, There's a few Suicidal songs that if you just played it 10 BPM fast or whatever, you wouldn't notice.
Right.
You wouldn't. But then you also start to realize, like, I think it's beautiful how well engineered the band's songs are.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's meaning behind everything, and it's not just noise. You know,
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing I've noticed.
Oh, your band, your music, and your message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting what you say about the academia world, because this is something, my sister is an artist and she's also a teacher, and so she's more of an artist than a teacher for her whole life. And so for her, she talks about how it can be, very enclosed world, where if you were getting into that sense of, not doing on your own, when you're saying to Max, like, I think you're in a good position because you don't have to abide by those rules and everything and being locked in.
I agree.
But a lot of the people in the academia world, they aren't artists.
No.
They don't know what it is to create and to be out there and to do that. They have a completely different mindset.
Yep.
And it can be very claustrophobic in a way where you're kind of like hurting an artist, not allowing them, they have their rules and certain set of
100%.
things, so I think that's really important for musicians to not think like, I have to go to this school. I have, when I was younger, I was like, I need to go to an art school.
Yep.
I need to go to a school that's like musical, like Fame. I was like,
that's where Mackie went.
I was like, I need to go to that type of school, know, in order to be an artist or whatever. And it's just,
that's what I thought for the longest time.
Right.
You did.
You're saying that, yeah.
Yeah. And I really had that in my mind, and I don't know what it is, because this is where it gets really kind of like not controversial, but it's just the truth, honestly. It's like, I never understand, especially in like the jazz world. Take the jazz world, but it really goes for anything. You're going and you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to a music school, and I'm sorry, but you're going to graduate and go play for $50.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes no freaking sense to me.
It's a great point.
And people will say, oh, well, it's for the art. Oh, you have to pay your dues. Oh, shut up. Pay your dues. Really? Okay. The idea of that made no sense to me, because once it clicked, once I played enough jazz gigs around New York, and I realized all these guys went to these schools, and they almost all teach or they work day jobs.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's great for them because they love that.
Right.
I'm not talking bad about it. It's
Yeah.
amazing if they love that. But if you genuinely want to do that for your career, and you want to make it in a band or as a solo artist, whatever it is, I don't understand now, especially with social media, the reason.
Yeah.
I really now I get it. You can make connections, this and that. There's a lot of other ways you can make connections too.
Totally.
And once you take that away, the last standing thing, which I'm very grateful to have, is, of course, some people don't know anything about business because maybe their parents, or God forbid, they don't have parents, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nobody exposed them to that. I understand that. But then at least go to school for business straight and do the music and figure that out without school. Please don't go,
Right.
Yeah.
if you're proficient on your instrument or your art or whatever it is, I've never understood the fact of you're going to get more lessons from somebody and now you're going to be able to work. Like, I don't understand that formula they
Right.
bake into your mind, because then a lot of times, this is where it gets really crazy. The stuff sometimes they start teaching is so hard and so theoretical. Will you ever use that on a gig?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in the drum world, I realize that like so many of these guys educate on drums. And that's what turned me off of it, I think, the most. Is like, I got to the point where I was taking lessons and I was doing things, and I was meeting people, and I realized everybody at a certain point started to conflict themselves. It's almost like if you go to enough personal trainers. Imagine if you brought 100 personal trainers in a room and they couldn't see each other or hear each other, and you asked them, if they worked out with you for one day or whatever, and you said, what am I doing wrong technique-wise on lifts or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Or diet. Everybody would have a different opinion.
100%.
Now, that's important, but when it's your art and it's your drumming or whatever it is, there's a point where I think, honestly, as long as you're not hurting yourself because your technique's that bad, and as long as you're successful with it, that's the way you play.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was getting to the point where people were like, oh, no, you should be doing this, and oh, no, you should be doing that. And I took a little bit of all of their statements and kind of made it my,
Right.
a little bit of advice from everybody.
Yeah.
But you listen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
To
That's-
everybody.
Right.
But then you make it then I took it all into one and made my, myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a certain point where I don't know how much more probing you need to do.
Right.
Like, how much more vocal lessons do you really need?
Right. Right.
You're doing it.
Right.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not hurting yourself. You
Right.
have proper technique. Now you just need to develop it on your own.
Right.
But to go pay $300,000 or whatever
That's
crazy
crazy,
amount of
dude.
money it is
Mhm.
for,
It's crazy. A lot of
let's
money.
go spend 24 hours working on these 4 measures because, you need to be able to play a 13 over 11 over this polyrhythm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Hell no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never understood it.
It's always like going to college and getting a degree in something, then never using any of those skills you learned in college for anything in your life too.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of a farce sometimes because it's
Mhm.
like I don't understand
Mhm.
I don't understand the outcome. Like I don't understand the goal. And I think unfortunately it's a lot of like people think that's just the way to do it. Like
Totally.
I feel
Yeah.
like it's like people sometimes around younger than me, but even my age, they think it's like the key.
And also, those schools are, their primary goal is to make money.
And they're marketing. They're
Yes,
marketing
it's
they're marketing the dream.
and it's about
Yeah,
making,
marketing
and it's
the
about
dream.
it's a corporation. These schools, and they're at the end of the day, they need to make money.
But they're marketing the dream to kids.
Of course, that's
And-
how you're
and-
gonna
and-
make.
and-
It's great marketing to make
100%.
money. Yeah, which is absurd amount of money, though. I understand that they have, but it's like kind of like a vehicle for business more than the arts.
That's why a lot of people that I know that are always like, "Do you wish you went to college for music?" And I'm sure, Grayson, you probably maybe get that question, and I feel like my answer is always the same, and it's usually like, no, I feel like I'm pretty lucky enough to be able to do the things that people want to do when they're in college for music. They want to go tour or do this or play music or play shows or record music or play with a band, but and it's not a bad thing. I'm not knocking it, but they're in college learning about it. You and I are lucky, lucky enough to be doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The real life experience of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think you can teach that.
Totally. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing, and it's kind of like a bigger thing overall, but it's like, I feel like sometimes those schools kind of want, like, put it this way, there's going to be a certain amount of people who may be very, very talented. And they may try to do what me and Max and you and everybody here is doing. And they're going to fail. They're going to fail miserably.
It's true.
But guess what? You can't save everybody.
Yeah. It's true.
And if they fail, well, maybe they were not meant for that. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And I feel like the problem with some of those schools is they pump this idea that, like, no matter what you do, you'll be fine in this business.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, it's okay if you're not getting paid because you're getting exposure. Like, let's just keep getting exposure. It's like, no, I need to actually eat
Yeah.
and like
Exposure's not
pay
paying
for
my
the
bills.
Uber that got me to the gig.
Yeah.
So it's like, unfortunately, if it's not going to work for you, it's not going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you're amazing. Maybe you're amazing at something else.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had none of those programs and you just had the real life, you would still have the people like ourselves who are doing it and making a living and doing it day in and day out.
100%.
And then there would be the people, survival of the fittest, that unfortunately would never get the gig. But that brings me to a point that I think people forget about is like, it's amazing that you can play guitar or sing or play drums at a certain speed and this and that. That's great. You sound great. This is a whole lot more than just playing your instrument.
For sure.
Because you know what I realized recently, and it was a kind of an epiphany I had, and was like, damn, I am so happy that I lived the life I've lived and that I was never naturally the best drummer of my age group. what I mean by that is I'm sure we all know people who excel at something, like an unnatural amount.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets into a sticky subject, but I'll keep it nice. It's basically like those people that, God forbid, somebody loses their eyesight or was never born with the ability to see. They may have amazing sense of smell or artistic ability, right? Because sometimes when something's lacking or there is a complete lack of, then something else may exceed.
Yeah, totally.
That happens so often in this world that we live in now that I realize, because I'm so thankful that I've had a business head and able to communicate with people and able to have a conversation. And people forget that sometimes people who may be naturally the best drummer on earth can't even look you straight in the eye and have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the dead honest truth.
It is.
And
man.
guess what? That could be the downfall of everything for you.
Yeah.
Because if you or guess what?
It's personality. It's everything.
You may be the best drummer naturally. You may have never picked up the drumsticks, but guess what? You have no patience for people.
Yeah.
And you're one of these people who has anger management issues or this or that, or you have an ego or whatever. That'll be the downfall of everything.
100%.
But guess what? If maybe you were a little less good and you were a genuinely nice person and you were capable of holding a conversation.
Yeah.
You weren't so socially awkward that like you couldn't hold a conversation. Like you're there.
It's true.
And able to advocate for yourself and have a business mind. You're going to go a lot farther than somebody who can just bang really good.
No, I think it's a great point, man.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
I think it's a great point.
And that's the thing I feel like those schools hide.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You don't have to do the business stuff in school. You go to your classroom, you do your assignments, and you can keep your mouth shut the entire time.
Yeah.
You take one of those kids, you put them in front of a contract or a situation where they're dealing with managers or bands or anything. Unfortunately, they're going to fall on their face or they're going to get screwed because they're going to sign something that screws them over for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a great point.
Instead of being an adult about it and you know, having to live it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And because I feel like in those schools, it kind of shields you from the reality of
failure and just everything.
Yeah, and that's awful. I think that the reality of failure is so important. It is so incredibly important, and it's not. I think a lot of those schools are based in kind of like, don't offend anybody, don't hurt anybody, don't fall on your face because you're gonna get a scratch. Like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's not this business. Sorry.
Yeah.
The business is a lot more honest than that.
And harsher.
Harsh.
And not pampered.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what? Those people who are being pampered in those schools, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
It's not, man.
Because guess what? The same thing that I always tell myself is like, and I, again, never told you this, but I always dreamed of playing these huge stadiums and arenas that I'm playing now. Always.
Yeah.
But what I think happens is you never say, I wish for this. I wish for this liquid death can, right? I wish for this. This is what I always dreamed of. But you just assumed what's in the can. You just assumed that all of this is water. Well, the half of it to the bottom could be drama and issues and the circumstances within the gig. So in my case, I always dreamed of, if you take the can of water as my dream of a gig. But I didn't realize that half of this can, if not more, would be have to learn the songs in 8 days. New country, new language, all those things.
Yeah.
You just wanted the dream. Okay, well, you're going to play those arenas. But that also comes with all this other stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
That you didn't think. So your dream really could have been, I wish I could play an arena and have 4 months to learn the songs, and I'm in my country and it's my language and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the dream.
Yeah.
That's really the dream, is comfort, not the truth of it. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be easy.
But you definitely appreciate the dream a lot more when you have those discomforts.
A hell lot more.
And again,
I agree.
And I think it's the only way you
from
can.
those
I think it's the only way. The four of us in this room live a very. In the mass population, the four of us live a very weird life.
Yeah.
A very strange life. And what I think is important for me, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this, is like, I'm so thankful that it's hard. Because I notice, even you, Toby, you're into your fitness, you're into this podcast, you're into so many other things than just music.
Totally.
Derek, same thing with you. Max, same thing with you. Same thing with me. But guess what? The thing is I feel like if it was easy, like you're saying, that thing, that's where the people who are famous get messed up.
Yeah.
It's too easy for them to get water. It's too easy. When things too easy, issues happen. We go to Brazil, and I realize people are so much nicer.
Yeah.
People, in the most part, are a lot more friendly, welcoming, there to have a good time, there to enjoy themselves. You know why? Because it's not so easy to get water there.
Yeah.
And they appreciate things a hell of a lot more than we do.
100%.
And when people start complaining about, woe is me, this and that, I think it's too easy to get water here sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
As we look at all the ones we drank during this podcast.
We drank a ton.
2 cases.
But that's the thing. It's too, when things are too easy, that's when these non-existent issues start to pop up.
I love my first time going to Brazil or Japan and coming back and seeing these different countries and the cultures and how they live and what they have, what we have, and then come back to America and realize like how lucky we are. And you know what I'm saying? And these different people and people coming to the shows and what, I don't know, just be more grateful. So much appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do a picture with us at the table with all these liquid deaths though.
Okay.
We drank 700. Thank you for being here on the podcast. You do a lot of podcasts or no?
This is my maybe 5th or 6th.
Yes, son. You got the exclusive.
You got early.
Okay.
Mostly the first in-person one I've ever done.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. It's crazy because you've lived such a life, but you're only 21. You did so much in a short period of time.
Yeah.
Trying.
And you have so much more to go. Like in 10 years from now, I'd love to talk to you on here again or couple months or couple years from now, the Sepultura stuff. It's crazy, man.
Thank you.
I was like to see you play with them. When's the LA show?
September 26th, I think.
Damn, son.
Good memory, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm psyched to see that.
I love that. I have no idea.
I was like, yeah.
September 26th, we will be here, yeah.
We'll try to get you. I might know somebody can get you guys on the list.
Stoked. No, I'm stoked to see you with them. And then when's the New York show?
October 12th.
You know what's crazy? I could probably ask Max the same stuff because these young kids have a good memory of the shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you write the set list or no?
No.
Okay. I thought there was a drummer thing. I thought it was a drummer
we
thing.
write the set list?
Whoa.
No, I think Andreas and you.
Okay. Because our original drummer wrote set list and now Max writes the set list. So
interesting.
I feel like drummers know the way for the interludes and the way the flow goes.
They definitely give a suggestion.
I had one really good suggestion that actually stayed in, which I'm very proud of. I'm very extremely proud of. And it was this little break I remember we added during Inner Self. And everybody, I never opened my mouth on an open mouth and said, oh, can we do this? And everybody's like, that's actually a really good idea.
Damn. Let the kid give something. That's cool.
Hey, get over here, Max. What about you guys?
I'll get a picture of this.
I write the set list, but
a photo over here.
But all the time during the set, my dad will look at me and be like, nope, not playing that song. Nope, not playing that song.
That's right.
But it all depends. It all depends on.
That's right.
It all depends on the vibe of the crowd.
Grayson, we'll talk later. We have a mutual friend in LA.
Oh shoot.
We do. No, I know we do. Oh, we do.
Max, you going to work right now? What time are you off work?
Friend.
Okay, we'll go to Green Table. Let's take him to Green Table.
Let's go.
Grayson, thank you for being here.
These too.
It's all good.
Yeah, we're all going. There we go.
So what's up next for you guys? This is the full every tour, whole world. When's it kick off?
Kicking it off in July in Brazil with a bunch of shows there. July, August, September. Then we'll do a U.S. tour after that. Then after that U.S. tour, we'll do Europe. And then we'll start next year with doing some special stuff.
Yo, this kid's going to be 40 by the time this shit's over.
I got to get my Prevagen. I'm going to have no memory.
Oh, my God.
And then we got a few more years to kick it around and come back to places that we didn't play in the U.S. and then Brazil.
Very exotic places.
And when you guys aren't touring, he can go play whoever he wants. He can play, work on records, do all that stuff.
They tied me to a chain.
Yeah, no.
Pretty much, yeah.
What last thing?
You will do nothing else.
Do you have any top,
nothing.
You have any top 5 favorite hip hop artists or groups or anybody that
Whoa,
inspires you?
whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
Oh, you're taking it back to that.
Just
Taking
real
it back
quick,
to that.
if you guys
Oh,
have any-
man.
yeah.
You're putting me on the spot.
Or just any inspirational artists you listen to that you
Get your
loved?
Spotify out.
I was going to say, my
Yeah.
Spotify is loaded.
Yeah,
My
I know.
Spotify-
I know you like Deftones.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's
I know you love
fine.
the Story of the Year record I sang on.
I do.
That's
Yes.
two.
Daft
Now you
Punk,
just need to-
Radiohead,
Oh,
The
okay.
Police, Rush.
Rush.
I'm looking at my Spotify.
That's fire. Keep going.
Yeah.
And actually likes Rush too. Dope.
Slaves on
course.
Dope. You
All right,
you
wow.
remember,
Really?
remember them? Yeah.
Oh my God,
Snap.
we're gonna see the guy.
No, we're not.
in Canada. He's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
You also
freak-
said Snot
Wait,
too.
wait.
He's the one that we did the Public Enemy cover.
Oh, that's dope.
Wait,
That's
wait,
dope.
wait, what? He's going to come to the show?
Yeah, he's gonna play on the.
The dude from Slaves on Dope?
Yeah,
Really?
You like Snot? What else you like, bro?
Dude, yeah, I love Snot. Let's see.
I think it is.
Imagine if it's not. That's awkward.
looking right
Oops,
now.
sorry. There's a ton of stuff on here. You see, Avenged, All That
Avenged
Remains,
Sevenfold,
The
the
Story
homies.
So Far.
What? Have you heard No Pressure?
Fuck yeah.
Fire.
Huh?
Turnstile?
Turnstile. Oh, we're seeing them Saturday.
Yo, we're going to the shows
Let's
out
go.
What else?
System of a Down.
Wow.
Avenged.
Slaves on Dope.
Yesterday's Rising. Wait, really?
Yeah, he's freaking out about playing Rata Mahata at the show.
Oh, tell him I'm freaking out about him.
He's gonna freak. That's fun.
Lagwagon, From Autumn to Ashes, Trust Company.
Okay.
The Used.
All right.
Damn.
H2O.
Yeah, son.
Yeah. All right. Wait. Before we go, Toby, how about we tell everybody, and then we got to go eat because I'm starving, how I came to fanboy all over you that day
Which day was this?
in New York.
What show? Was it the first show?
No, it was the last one, wasn't it?
We definitely got a picture together, but then I freaked out because then you called DJ Premier.
Yeah.
With
I
me.
FaceTimed him on the
I
street.
know, that was fucking crazy. And then he followed me on Instagram, bro. That freaked me out,
Wow.
man. Thank you for that. I
No, you
love
kidding me?
Star. Got a Guru tattoo. That's my shit growing up. No, I didn't even know you even heard of H2O because you're so
Dude,
young.
come
It's fucking
on. You
crazy,
kidding
man.
me?
Yeah.
Had to.
Strong Island, son.
Strong guy. Yo.
These two guys, two
You
21-year-old
better add me
single
now.
drummers.
Yeah,
H2O,
yeah.
Sepultura. Oh my God, dude. Yo, that's like a whole other podcast,
Yeah,
those two.
that's a whole nother one.
All right, well, thank you for being here, Derek.
Thanks for having me, man.
Congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
together. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
I was so happy it all worked out. I was there doing all the stress of the first
Oh, yeah.
28, 48
You were-
hours. His
you
response.
heard it all, man. I was.
Grayson's coming. He talked to the dad.
Yeah.
He's here. He's practicing. All that shit. It's beautiful, man.
Well, thank
It
you
was
guys for
meant to
having
be.
me. Seriously.
Beautiful things come out of chaos, man. It all worked
Damn
out.
right.
Absolutely.
I'm really
man.
happy. I think it's like it was a blessing in disguise, man, for you guys.
For sure.
100%.
No doubt.
Let's get some food
Let's do it.
and let's get
do
Max.
it.
Get this doing the Riot app. Can you get him on? you can cut. I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out because you guys are single.
Oh, my God.
Max can vouch for you. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swiped the credit card. Don't really tell me much. Didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life, One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art Pico-Way laser technology. Cryo-technology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to removery.com. or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.